The culprit? Dirty rats. They'd chewed through the conduits, so Siron's energy couldn't even reach the projectors. After a desperate struggle, Aruki's shoulders slumped. It's over. We failed. Big time. The clock in Aruki's hand showed only seconds until midnight. Need looked at the floor. This is all on me. He started spiraling. I was so stupid, so careless. I couldn't even build a simple device for the ghost show. Araki tried to speak, but Nide was already sobbing. I'm so sorry for dragging you guys into this. Sorry for making you look like total jokes. He wiped his eyes with his sleeve. I'll take the fall for this. Whatever it takes. He looked at Siren. Just stop. It's over. Siren, I'll take the heat for this. But Siren wasn't having it. No way. He snapped back. His voice was steady. We worked way too hard for this. Sacrificed too much sleep. Nede, Aruki, give me everything you've got left. Siren's eyes were blazing with pure determination. There is no way I'm letting it end like this. Not today. Araki sensed something dangerous coming. Nede, stop Siron. Now. But Nede was just standing there, totally confused. Huh? After a sec, Anin totally loses it and starts stuttering. No way, man, no way. Anin screams his head off. Is he really going for the immortality cheat code? And boom, Siren's internal energy starts exploding. Eyes glowing like LED lights, Siron slips into a trippy, infinite spiral dimension. Araki and N are absolutely not having it. Stop it, Siren, stop right now. Aruki's shaking him like crazy. Damn it, why won't this thing just shut down? N grabs Siren's hand, trying to rip that glowing orb away. He's straight up sobbing. Please stop. You're gonna literally vanish. Dude. Enin's crying now, saying we can just quit this research group. I can't lose you again, bro. Siron just whispers his name. His face is weirdly calm. I'm not scared anymore. Then, blue lightning flashes deep inside Siren's head like a circuit shorting. This insane, raw power starts taking over his entire body. It's terrifying. We're talking world-ending levels of scary here. Siren can barely handle the pressure. He's gritting his teeth so hard, making these painful, muffled groans through the gaps. He remembers Lord Amin saying he wouldn't disappear. Then Siren lets out a gut-wrenching scream as his body starts turning into dust. He tells himself to focus. Every beautiful memory starts flashing before his eyes like a high-speed movie reel on fast forward. Hugging his parents, the bright smiles from Gina and Ran. That first time meeting Ami and Serial, it all comes back. All those days just chilling with N and Aruki, the look of total trust from Principal Alpheus. Seeing Amin again, every life or death moment, every drop of sweat for this very second, it all reminds Siren of the truth. Who is he? Once he remembers his identity, that immortality energy wakes up for real, and he stops fading away. It's actually working. Siron's body starts knitting itself back together, piece by piece, returning to its original state. Eamon was right, Siren didn't vanish. He snaps his eyes open and swears he's done running away for good. Siron lets out a massive roar. Enin panics, asking if he's okay. Siron just keeps screaming his lungs out. Aroki reacts fast, yelling at N. N dives for the controls and suddenly freezes. Wait, what the? Enin can't believe his eyes. No way. The needle is jumping. The numbers are hitting 157%. N signals Aruki through his tears. Aruki. Right now, Aruki is holding the kill switch. Following N's lead, he slams that lever down hard. Meanwhile, at the girls' dorm, Maria's acting all chill. Wait, is it midnight already? Man, time flies. Maria's a grade 7 student. She closes her book. Bummer, but I gotta sleep. Got class tomorrow morning anyway. Suddenly, Maria starts shivering. A memory hits her that sends a literal chill straight down her spine. I totally forgot that spirit story. Is it true you see ghosts at midnight? She's low-key spooked now. She lets out a long sigh. Siren, come on. Spirits aren't even real. Then Maria happens to glance at the window. A ghost is literally hovering right there. It looks gnarly, skeletal face, sunken eyes, drooling right against the glass. Maria is paralyzed with fear. Then Ami's voice rings out in a piercing scream. Get lost! Get away from me! Glass shatters everywhere as a flower vase hits the floor. Pure chaos is breaking loose in the girl's wing. This tall, dark shadow is looming over. Ami, what are you? How'd you get in? It's a ghost in knight armor, mocking her. Ami's eyes are wide. Did that thing just laugh? Without thinking, she turns tail and starts sprinting for her life. She's screaming her head off. Sariel bursts out of the next room into Ami's. Ami, a ghost just appeared in mine too. Ami's shocked. You saw it too? Sariel's terrified. That means they both slowly turn around together. It's a total mess. Every girl in the dorm is pouring out of their rooms like a kicked beehive. Screams are echoing everywhere. Ghosts. Just run. Behind them is a full-on ghost army, looking absolutely hideous. The whole campus lights up as every room turns on. The academy is literally shaking from the sheer panic. I see them. Actual ghosts. Just like N warned during the presentation, midnight hits, and the evil spirits show up looking nasty. Those moans and wails are freaking everyone out. It sounds like a literal horror movie soundtrack playing on loop. These spirits are everywhere: the yard, the classrooms, the halls. There's nowhere left to hide. Kids are sleeping, then boom screaming. Help! They're even coming from the sky. Total nightmare fuel. The entire school is rocked by this ghost-pocalypse in a single night. Everyone's losing it. Why won't they stop chasing us? Back off. Stay away. This old academy tower hasn't seen this much action in forever. Students are swarming the courtyard, huddling together. The girls are crying, begging someone to do something. The guys are desperately trying to use their magic to fight back against the spirit horde. A light brown-haired kid stammers, "They're everywhere. Just blast them." The heavy footsteps of the spirits are closing in. It was a total mob scene, and honestly, they looked straight up terrifying. The students completely lost their nerve, were talking, full-on sobbing, huddled together, and running for their lives like it was the end of the world. But then, poof, the spirits just vanished into thin air. Everyone just stood there, totally dazed, asking, wait, did they just disappear? One dude, still wiping tears from his eyes, whispered in disbelief, "The light." His buddy looked up and gasped, "Yo, who the heck is that on the roof?" Up on the roof, Siron and Aruki were standing tall like absolute bosses, looking down at the crowd and just slow clapping. Talk about a power move. Siron acted all casual, like he didn't just scare the life out of everyone. "Sorry our presentation started so late, but thanks for showing up," he said, putting a hand over his heart with a dramatic bow. "Seriously, thanks." Suddenly, a scream of pure rage cut through the air. "You kids!" Sienna. She was sprinting toward them, looking absolutely livid and ready to explode. "Get down here right now. It's the middle of the night, why are you causing such a mess?" Sienna was fuming, clutching the projector that N had set up earlier. She was shouting her head off, complaining about how she was just trying to take a shower when the chaos started. Up on the roof, N just gave her a cheeky salute and a wink to mess with her even more. "Beautiful night for it, isn't it, Professor Sienna?" Seeing the projector in her hands, the students finally put two and two together and realized they'd been played. A 3D projector? So, those ghosts were all fake? Then, someone started chuckling. Sienna turned around and realized it was Principal Alpheus. "Principal, what are you doing here?" she asked, totally caught off guard. Alpheus just gave her a calm smile. "I don't think the show's over yet. Let's hear what they have to say." Up on that roof, Siren was hyped. He leaned over and shouted to the crowd below, "Listen up, everyone. According to our research group, souls are the real deal. So tell me, do you guys actually believe in the supernatural or what?" The crowd erupted instantly. Leading the charge was this brown-haired guy who looked ready to start a riot. He started screaming at Siren's group, calling them total frauds. "What do you mean they exist? You guys are full of it. They're fake. It's just a cheap trick even a toddler could pull off." But as soon as he said cheap, his face went pale as he realized something wasn't adding up. Two girls behind him started whispering and comparing notes. "Wait, If it's just a trick, how did they actually pull that off? The guy spun around, snapping at them. What are you talking about? It's obviously just 3D magic. But the girls weren't buying it. That's the thing, though. How did all those different projections move so independently? It doesn't make sense. Boom. The whole campus turned into a hive of activity. Everyone was debating, theorizing, and losing their minds over the technical details. I've been thinking about it since we found out they were fake, one student muttered. But I'm still stumped. Maybe they used a projector hidden in the machine? But across the entire school, that would take a massive amount of data and insane levels of energy. No way they could pull that off. Alpheus used his own magic to pop a cute little ghost into existence. He chuckled and looked at Sienna. Well, what do you think? Can you actually explain the logic behind the trick these kids used, Professor Sienna? Alpheus asked with a playful grin. She gave a frustrated laugh and adjusted her glasses, searching for the right words. Their little prank is surprisingly high level. On the roof, Siron just smirked. A mage's real weapon? Their brain? They couldn't help it. Curiosity is a hell of a drug, and these students were officially hooked on the mystery. It's the oldest trick in the book. The guys who were mocking Siren's group earlier, now they were just straight up salty and embarrassed. I got played by a fifth year? This is a joke. The brown-haired guy was shaking, veins practically popping out of his forehead from pure frustration. I just can't figure out how they did it. Even though the show was legendary, Sienna still wasn't ready to give them the official win just yet. She knit her brows together and turned back to Alpheus. It's a tough trick, sure, but it's not enough for us to officially approve their research group. Alpheus just gave her a quiet, knowing smile. He spoke softly. Sienna, the trick itself, that's not the important part here. That left her totally confused. Nearby, the students were still talking trash to cover up their fear. Whatever, it's still fake. Souls don't exist. Period. That brown-haired guy was the loudest. He pointed right at Siron and yelled, "What does a fake ghost have to do with actual supernatural research anyway?" Siren just let out a laugh. Wow, you guys really don't believe in the supernatural at all, do you? The crowd shouted back in unison. Obviously, it was just a fancy magic show. Siren's voice went calm and serious. Then let me ask you this. Why are you all still standing here? The whole crowd went dead silent, paralyzed by the question. He kept pressing them. What were you so terrified of? Why were you running for your lives? If ghosts aren't real, then why? They couldn't even find the words to answer. Even Ami and Cyril just stood there, totally speechless and staring at the ground. Siren's eyes narrowed. Those emotions you're feeling right now? That's the core of everything our supernatural research group is about. He spoke slowly, letting every word sink in. All of you, you claim you don't believe in spirits, but the second you see one, you're paralyzed with fear. That's because deep down, there's a seed of doubt that maybe, just maybe, they're real. Siren's logic was starting to win them over. We didn't just show you ghosts. We showed you the fear and the doubt that's already living inside you. We don't actually know if souls exist yet, but that's exactly what we're studying, the source of that doubt. And that's what real research is all about. Up on the roof, Siren and Aruki shared a subtle, knowing nod. Mission accomplished. Down in the crowd, one girl with chestnut hair clapped her hands over her mouth, totally losing it. No cap. Everything we think is facts today was probably called a lie back in the day. Up on that roof, Nguyen's voice was booming like a straight-up legend. It's all because everyone looked at us with nothing but straight-up doubt. But we just proved this squad is legit. And that, ladies and gents, wraps up the Supernatural Research Club's wild presentation. The second he finished, Siron, Nguyen, and Aruki all synced up and took a deep, formal bow. They shouted a massive thank you to the whole school. Students started glancing at each other, smirking, and one brown-haired dude just couldn't hide his grin. Then boom, the entire campus just erupted. Total chaos, everyone cheering their heads off. Yo, that was fire. We're down for it. If the pranks are this epic, you guys can trick us as many times as you want. Standing behind the kids were the faculty. Anpas had his hands behind his back, his voice steady but carrying that heavy boss energy. Where do we come from? And where are we heading? While most stay stuck, some are out here exploring the doubt and showing us the invisible. He asked the teachers what they thought. CNA stayed dead silent, but Anpas, he was all smiles. I'd say that presentation actually meant something. Thut, standing right there, just nodded respectfully. No arguments from me, headmaster. Sienna let out a long sigh. Fine, I get it. She stood up straight, looking all official. She solemnly announced that the professors had reached a verdict. The Supernatural Research Club is officially recognized by the school. The trio couldn't even hide their hype, they were buzzing. But then, a vein started popping on Sienna's forehead. She went full rage mode and screamed, "But, you're all suspended for 3 days. You idiots!" Even with the ban, Siren, Eriki, and Noon just hugged it out, absolutely losing their minds with joy. We did it. It actually worked. We freaking did it, boys. The students were right there with them, shouting stuff like, "Congrats," and "Keep it up," while Sienna just fumed, feeling totally ignored. Are you even listening to your professor? I literally just told you that you're suspended. Maria leaned over to Mar, all wide-eyed. Whoa, Siren Senpai is actually. Mar just nodded. Our main character's eyes were practically sparkling with pure respect. Senior Siron is a straight-up genius, Serial added, looking at them like they were rock stars. Man, they look so cool right now. Everyone wants that one moment, right? That one time they make the whole world stop and stare. Ami just stood there, keeping her mouth shut. She was thinking, unbelievable, while I'm out here burying myself in books just to graduate, you're spending your time on this useless stuff. Seeing Siren's huge, radiant smile just made Ami pout. She gave a cold heemph and turned away. She looked up at the glittering stars and whispered to herself, okay, maybe I'm like, a tiny bit jealous. Just a little. Meanwhile, in a dark corner, a bunch of salty haters in black robes were seething, watching Siren's big win. One of them clicked his tongue. Pathetic. Even a dying camel is bigger than a horse. The grads really left the club to these bratty kids? Another dude crossed his arms, looking annoyed. Forget taking over their spot. My Ant language research group is officially quitting. Someone else cut him off. They're only 5th years. Don't tell me you're really gonna tuck tail and run already? The Ant guy lost his mind. What? They're basically gonna be in the graduation class soon anyway. One guy, acting all feminine, giggled behind his hand to mess with him. If you're that scared to face them next year, maybe you should just graduate now and hide. The Ant guy was shaking with rage. You better shut your mouth, you doll collector weirdo. Talk about being triggered. He started picking fights with everyone. And you too, hide-and-seek research club, get lost. Phi, who had been quiet this whole time, finally stepped in. His voice was ice-cold, the kind of tone a real leader uses. That's enough. Cut it out before we draw a crowd. Phi smirked, but his words felt dark and calculating. Standing around here like this only hurts us. Just chill and wait for the right opening. Far off, Sienna was keeping an eye on Phi's group. She sighed, thinking about all those shady little clubs lurking around. Sienna looked like she wanted to cry. Can you guys please just grow up for once? Meanwhile, Anpas was playing around with the magic Siron used to make those ghosts. He started laughing, totally impressed. Beautiful. Truly beautiful. Anpas stroked his beard, smiling like a proud grandpa. Even as a light magic expert, this is stunning. The way he used it, I definitely didn't see that coming. Looking up at the magic in the sky, Anpas whispered to himself, you actually finished a pretty impossible task, kid. Siren, honestly, I thought you'd hit your limit. I thought that was all you had in you, but I was wrong. He looked down at the memento in his hand and whispered, the future, maybe you really do have what it takes to finish my dream. With that, Anpas gripped the keepsake tight, and Siron, he was just vibing, lying flat out on the grass. He's laughing like a total maniac, purely stoked to be alive, as he collapses right next to Siron. Our boy gives him a couple of frantic taps, eyes wide with worry. Yo, for real though, you actually good? You're not glitching out on me, right? Siren just flashes a bright grin, basically saying he's chilling. Aruki sits up, realizing something. Did he seriously forget to troll Siren today? Absolute madness. Who in their right mind gambles their entire life for a stunt like this? When Aruki starts his usual teasing, Siren just lets out a goofy laugh. Aruki gives him that "bro, you're insane" look. But for real, you're the GOAT, Neen adds, jumping up and completely backing Aruki's play. Facts. If Siren hadn't pulled that god-tier talent out of his pocket, we would have been cooked. But still, imagine risking your neck just for the plot. That's wild. Aruki drops back down onto the grass, a smirk playing on his lips. Man, we just got lucky. Like, straight-up plot armor levels of luck. Thinking about how Siron almost faded into nothingness back there, Aruki shakes his head. No cap, Siron. You're a straight-up legend, but you're also a total freak. Hearing his two best bros hyping him up like he's some kind of hero? Yeah, Siren's face is turning a deep shade of embarrassed. He stammers out, "Wait, why are y'all only glazing me? You guys are literal geniuses too." Aruki, being able to predict how every single student in this academy would react? That's some big brain energy right there. Now it's Aruki's turn to feel the heat as he awkwardly shifts his gaze and tries to play it cool. Siren doesn't stop, turning to Neen next. And Neen, the way you mass-produce those machines, that's just the warm-up, right? Now Neen's blushing too, his face looking like a literal tomato. Now all three of them are just sitting there, faces glowing red and feeling cringy as hell from all the wholesome vibes. Aruki tries to break the tension. Wow, okay, since when did you get so humble? Neen chips in, totally flustered. Bro, stop. You're making us look soft out here. Siron just ignores them, reaching his hand up toward the sky as if he's trying to snatch one of those shimmering stars. He gets all deep for a second. I want to climb higher, right up there with the stars. His eyes are literally sparkling with that main character hope and fire. Aruki looks up at the vast void too. The stars, huh? I guess I've been playing around long enough. Maybe it's time I start looking into those high-tier job classes? Hearing that, Neen bolts upright, looking hyped. Yo, now that's what I'm talking about. The three of us. We gotta graduate this place together. Once we hit the real world, trust me, there's gonna be way crazier stuff waiting for us than just school exams. Siren repeats the words under his breath, looking over at Neen. The real world. Aruki's all in now, sitting up properly. He lets out a sharp, confident laugh. Sounds like a plan. Isn't it about time we started living like we actually own the place? Neen throws his hand out, full of hype. Promise me right now, he declares, sounding like a boss. We're going to the very top. Together. Siren slaps his hand on top of Neen's. Locked in. Bet. We're gonna be the strongest. Aruki is the last one to join the stack. He mumbles. So, what's the official squad motto for this little pact? Neen shrugs, totally casual. Whatever works, man. Just wing it. Suddenly, Neen gets a eureka moment. All right, check this out. He points to the brightest star in the sky and screams, "Long live supernatural science." Aruki immediately vibes with it. Don't you dare quit on us. Then, they go full goofball mode. Siren throws his hand up, determined. We graduate together. No matter what. Neen suddenly points at Aruki, laughing his head off. Wait, what did you just say? Aruki gives him a devious little smirk. I just said we'll try to be as legendary as, well, three little sheep. Siren, stuck in the middle, is laughing so hard he's literally crying, thinking to himself, asterisk, together, we're gonna be the greatest mages ever. Asterisk. Tonight, the sky is absolutely breathtaking. The starlight is washing over the academy campus, promising a future that looks bright as hell. But the next morning, back at the dorms, Neen is screaming in Siren's ear. Siren, get up, man. He's shaking him like a Polaroid picture. You seriously gonna waste your precious time off sleeping? Get up, we're going out. Aruki is just standing there, judging Siron's sleeping face. He's definitely out cold. Probably exhausted from yesterday. But Neen isn't taking no for an answer. He gives Siron a few more shakes. Siron, yo, but Siron's a statue. Eyes shut tight, totally unresponsive. It's not that Siren doesn't want to wake up. It's like he's got a massive case of sleep paralysis. He can't move a single muscle. Asterisk. Great asterisk, he thinks. Asterisk. I'm trapped in the nightmare again. Asterisk. Just like before, he's drifting into an endless black void, surrounded by the slow, trippy dance of the stars. And at the end of the road, a massive, swirling galaxy with distorted light is waiting to swallow him whole. But wait, something is different this time. Usually, he wakes up right about now. This time, there's something new. A chain of glowing, golden particles that look straight up magical. They start merging together, making a sound like a mirror shattering into a million pieces. Siren has no idea what he's looking at. His eyes snap open, but the view in front of him, it's completely surreal. Words can't even describe this. Siren's whole body starts to pixelate, fading away. He wakes up for real this time, drenched in cold sweat. Heart racing, he realizes. The dream changed. What? What was that? Did everything I did yesterday actually glitch my subconscious? He looks at the clock on the wall. It's almost 1 in the afternoon. Siron is still shook, just lying there with his eyes wide and his mouth hanging open. But right above his head, that same chain of glowing golden beads is there, swirling in beautiful, perfect circles around him like some kind of ancient power-up. He grips his blanket tight, panicking. What the hell are these things? He scrambles out of bed and finds a note left by Neen and Aruki. It says, "We're hitting the casino. As long as we use Hierarchies' freakish prediction skills, we're basically printing money. Stay mad." And of course, the bottom of the note is covered in 2 obnoxious, smirking faces drawn by his so-called best friends. Typical. All right, let's get into it. Our boy Siren is basically losing it. Seriously? A secret casino run? They're gonna come back broke for sure. But wait, 3 days of suspension? Are you kidding me right now? What am I even supposed to do? His mind immediately went to his parents back home. Should he just bail and go visit them? He knew for a fact his mom would flip, like total meltdown status. Suspended? My son is a delinquent now? The questions would be endless. Yeah, no. Scratch that. Bad move. Forget it, he muttered. I've got to keep this whole situation on the down low. Total secret. A little while later, Siren was looking sharp. He stood in front of the mirror, adjusting his cuffs with a confident little smirk. He was actually feeling pretty hyped. He finally had time for something he'd been dying to do, and honestly, his heart was pounding like crazy. With that, Siron turned and dipped. He didn't even notice those weird, glowing golden particles trailing behind his shadow. They literally shifted into a silhouette of Siren, standing tall right there in front of the mirror, like some kind of ghostly double. Before long, Siren pulled up to this massive, fancy bookstore. He reached for the handle, his heart doing backflips in his chest. I've been grinding and studying for years, he thought. It's finally time to buy a novel just for me. Man, talk about a major throwback. But then a wave of straight-up trauma hit him out of nowhere. He could still hear the owner's nasty, arrogant voice echoing in his head like it was yesterday. Hey, where do you think you're putting those filthy fingers, kid? Back in the day, Siren was just a dirt-poor kid wearing literal rags. Even though he's a totally different person now, that feeling of being treated like trash? Yeah, it was still buried deep in his soul. He was low-key panicking. What if they tell me not to touch anything again? But after a second, he sucked it up and marched inside. It was the same lady, same orange curls, same green dress. Only this time, the "I'm better than you" attitude was replaced by a massive, fake smile. She was being extra as hell. Oh my goodness, welcome, handsome. It is such an honor to have a gentleman like you in my humble shop. Are you here to place a big order, sir? Her fake sweet energy had Siren feeling totally awkward and confused. No, just here to buy a book. The lady didn't miss a beat. Oh, I see. Well, please, feel free to browse everything we have. Goodness, you're quite the looker, aren't you? Siren was not used to this kind of VIP treatment. He just gave a stiff, thanks. He couldn't believe it. She had zero clue it was him. I mean, it had only been 5 years, right? Watching her walk away, he realized just how much he'd changed. After finding the perfect book, he headed to the counter to pay. When she saw the gold coins Siren pulled out, she practically started drooling. Oh wow, you're so generous, sir. Thank you so much. He finally had at times raising dragons to defeat the demon lord. Asterisk. The book he'd wanted since he was a literal toddler. Siron was internally screaming. Yes, finally, my very own novel. I actually bought it. This was his first ever real purchase. He was so hyped he actually started spinning around in the street, making people do a double take. Check out that young master, someone whispered. He's totally lost his mind. He hugged the book to his chest, grinning like an idiot, so glad he saved up his allowance. Suddenly, someone called his name from behind. Siren? A girl suddenly grabbed his arm out of nowhere. She was beaming at him. It is you, right, Siren? Caught in a surprise hug, Siren turned bright red. Who even are you? The girl didn't answer, and she definitely wasn't letting go. She turned around and waved to her crew. Hey, I told you guys, it really is Siren. After a second of staring, the gears finally started turning. Siren realized he actually knew this girl. That sweet voice was exactly the same. She was that little girl who used to stare at him whenever he was busy studying. Sir, are you reading again? Back then, whenever he'd sit under a tree with a book, a bunch of neighborhood kids would always tease him. Looking at them now, he recognized the whole squad. And they definitely knew him, too. The buff dude in the front shouted, Siren, is that really you, man? Siren's eyes went wide. Antho? Then he looked at the girl. Wait, so you're Lumina? Lumina was clearly stoked that he actually remembered her name. Duh, did you seriously forget what I looked like? Siren stammered. I honestly didn't recognize you. You're, really beautiful now. He remembered her old nickname was Janino's. Hearing that, Lumina wasn't exactly thrilled. She pulled a face and said, Excuse me? Are you saying I wasn't pretty back then? Siren laughed nervously, waving his hands. No, not like that. His old friends immediately swarmed him, eyes wide with pure admiration, hitting him with a million questions at once. Bruh, what happened? You're dressed like a literal royal. Was this outfit expensive? Your face changed so much. Siren was getting totally overwhelmed. He was fumbling for an answer when Antho, the old leader of the pack, stepped up to say what's up. Siren, man, it's been forever. How've you been? We tried asking Mr. Vincent, but he wouldn't tell us anything. Siren looked at Antho, totally stuck. Man, how am I even supposed to explain all this to them? Siren freezes for a second. He's thinking, yo, should I actually tell them? They're gonna find out sooner or later anyway, right? If he lies now, it's just gonna blow up in his face later. So, Siren decides to keep it 100. Actually, I've been grinding at the Magic Academy. The squad straight up loses it. Magic? The Magic Academy? Even Antho's face goes from tough guy to wait. What? In 0.5 seconds. Antho's just standing there, stunned. Siren looks at him, and suddenly, he's catching a total flashback to the old days. Ever since they were little, Antho was a total unit strong as hell and always loud. Naturally, he was the leader of their little group. Flashback to when Antho was 10 years old. He and the village kids were heading into the woods when he spots a certain bookworm. Siron, reading again? You nerd? Siron hears that familiar voice and turns around instantly. Oh, hey, Antho. Those memories. They're just scrolling through Siren's head like a movie reel. But man, Antho's ego was his biggest weakness. The kids all stopped to stare at the massive book in Siron's hands, totally impressed. Look at all those words. He must be some kind of genius. We can't even read stuff like that. Antho just stands there, silent, watching his own crew fanboy over Siren's big brain. He is not feeling it. He stomps over, yanks the book out of Siren's hands, and yells, "You don't even go to school. Why are you wasting time on this trash?" Against Antho's raw strength, Siren is basically helpless. He just lets out a surprised squeak as his book disappears. Antho shifts his little axe onto his shoulder, acting like a total boss. "Listen, you gotta build muscles to actually contribute to society, kid. In a tiny mountain village where danger is everywhere, there's one golden rule you gotta live by, and that is..." Siren sees his younger, scrawny self in his mind. He gives a soft, tired smile. "Yeah, I get it now." The memory keeps playing. Back then, Antho just glared at him, annoyed by how easily Siren gave in, and didn't say another word. Then he lets out this massive sigh, like he's finally venting all that pent-up frustration. Finally, he shoves the book back at Siren. "As long as you understand who's in charge. The leader protects the village, and everyone else listens to the leader." Survival of the fittest, that was the logic Siron lived by every single day. Then, Antho breaks into a huge grin and reaches out. "Anyway, I'm gonna go play some soccer. You coming or what?" Suddenly, a massive scream rips through the air, loud enough to shake the trees. It's Lumina. She's charging at them with a mop, looking absolutely terrifying, screaming at Antho, "I told you to stop bullying Siron." She starts whacking Antho left and right. He's like, "Who's bullying who, you crazy girl?" But she's not listening to his excuses. He literally just got over being sick, and you're still picking on him? How is that not bullying? Antho gets so tilted, he shouts back, "Keep this up and no one's ever gonna marry you." Present-day Siren just chuckles to himself. Man, those were some wild times. Antho's sitting there now, looking super awkward. That's actually hard to believe. "You really went to school?" Lumina's eyes are wide as dinner plates. "Wait, does that mean you can actually do real magic?" The other buddy is vibrating with excitement. "Yo, seriously? Can you show us a little something? Just one spell?" Siren gets all bashful. "Nah, I just started, so I'm still a total noob. Besides, using magic outside the academy is a huge no-no." His friend lets out a massive, disappointed groan. Talk about a buzzkill. Suddenly, Antho notices the book Siren is clutching like his life depends on it. "You still carrying a book everywhere just like the old days?" Before Siren can react, Antho reaches out. "Let me see what they're writing in these fancy wizard books." Siren panics. "Wait, stop." In his head, he's screaming, "No way, this is just a cheesy novel I bought to kill some time. This is embarrassing." Antho's grip is like iron. He successfully yanks the book away from Siren's desperate hands. But he's too clumsy. The book slips, tumbling toward the dirt. Siren's heart practically stops. "My precious book," Siren thinks, his soul leaving his body. He lunges forward, hands outstretched. Just as he's about to grab it, a lightning-fast flash of memory zaps through his brain, but he manages to snag the book. Clutch save, but that flashback, it felt way too real. The pain hits Siren like a truck, and he collapses to the ground, hugging the book tight. The whole squad freaks out. "Siren, what happened? Yo, are you okay? Speak to us, man." Lumina immediately turns into a demon, glaring at Antho. "Are you serious? You're not a kid anymore. Why are you still being a bully?" Antho's stuttering, totally caught in 4K. I didn't even do anything." Siren gasps out, "It's fine. It was an accident. Don't worry." Lumina is not having it. "How can I not worry when you just folded like a lawn chair? You're usually not this fragile." Antho just stands there watching them talk. And man, he's feeling some type of way. A mix of guilt and something else he can't name. Lumina sees Siron's okay and cheers up instantly. "Whatever, let's get out of here." "You coming? We're gonna go find some top-tier food." Antho just follows behind, silent. "Hell yeah, Siren," he adds, totally hyped. To celebrate the shop's massive sale, we're throwing a straight-up rager over at Lumina's place. Let's head over and just vibe. What do you guys think? The squad didn't even hesitate. Everyone's down for it. Seeing the boys that excited, Siren just grins and nods. "All right then, let's get it." He figures he's got nothing better to do anyway, so why not? Suddenly, The big guy and another friend roll up with a carriage right in front of them, and Tho literally scoops Siren up like he weighs nothing, laughing his head off. "You're riding shotgun, bro." Siren yelps, totally caught off guard. "Whoa, you can actually lift me?" And Tho just lets out a massive belly laugh. "Man, you're light as a feather. This is nothing." Watching that little show of strength, Siron can't help but think to himself, "And Tho, you absolute unit. We haven't seen each other in forever and you've turned into a straight-up beast. Plus, you're actually running a business now?" He stares at his buddy, realizing that Antho is probably going to be the new big boss of the whole village soon. So, the whole crew heads over to Lumina's house. A few minutes later, Lumina's mom pops out. "Oh my god, who is this? Is that you, Siren? Wow, you got so handsome. I bet Lumina's heart is doing backflips right now." Lumina turns bright red and screams, "Mom, stop being so cringe." After the mom's high-energy welcome, the group gets the party started for real. They all raise their glasses, shouting, "To Siren." Looking at the massive spread of food on the table, the brown-haired kid is losing his mind. "This looks so good, I can't even." Lumina holds up her drink and smiles. "Eat your heart out, Siren." Siron doesn't miss a beat. "Thanks, Lumina. I'm gonna demolish all of this." Meanwhile, the brown-haired friend is looking suspicious. "Wait, is this drink actually?" But before he can finish, the chubby friend shuts him down. "Chill, man. It's just fizzy barley water." Over in the corner, Antho is taking huge gulps of his drink, just quietly watching the chaos. Then, the brown-haired kid suddenly blabs out, "Yo, Siron, tell us about school. You're like the top dog there, right?" Siren immediately starts coughing his lungs out, and Antho literally spits his drink everywhere. The kid keeps going, "I'm so curious, man. Are you like a full-blown mage now?" The rest of the squad joins in. "I heard only the fancy nobles get to go there. Does that mean you're hanging out with all those high and mighty types?" Siron is internally panicking, totally overwhelmed by the questions. He's praying to himself, "God, please, stop hyping me up in front of Antho." But with the barley juices kicking in, the boys won't stop. "I bet those noble girls are absolute tens, right? Come on, spill the tea. We're dying to know." With everyone ganging up on him, Siren just waves his hands frantically. "How should I know? I'm too busy drowning in homework." Lumina lets out a huge sigh like she just survived a disaster. But then, Antho slams his glass onto the table. Hard. "Siren, school is great and all, but what's the actual plan?" Siren flinches, turning around. "The plan?" Antho continues, "Right now, Lord Vincent is carrying the entire family on his back. Eventually, that's gonna be on you. You gotta get married, lead the clan. When you're done with school, can you actually handle all that weight?" Siren goes dead quiet. He realizes there's no guarantee he'll even graduate, let alone lead. Seeing Siren's face, Antho takes another sip and says, "Look, man, you just gotta get real with yourself." Those words hit Siren like a truck. Reality. He's been so buried in books that he never actually thought about the big picture. All his friends are already out here helping their families with business, while his dad is still breaking his back working. He asks himself, when am I actually going to start helping him? Lumina looks over, clearly worried about the vibe shift. Antho notices too and speaks up. "Hey, I didn't mean to make things all depressing." He offers a smirk. "Yo, Siren, want to go a round of arm wrestling? You used to be the man back in the day." Siren blinks, totally surprised. "Arm wrestling?" The chubby friend gets hyped again. "Hell yeah." Antho and Siren used to be neck and neck. The brown-haired kid nods along. Siren's a sleeper build. He's way stronger than he looks. "I remember now." Siren thinks back to the old days. "Yeah, we used to do this all the time." He remembers one specific match where the brown-haired kid yelled, "Siren, you're a beast." And Antho was salty as hell, demanding a rematch. That didn't count. Run it back. But Siren realizes that today, for the sake of the village, he needs to let Antho keep his pride. He locks in and says, "All right, let's make it interesting. Let's bet on it." Antho grins. Totally into it. Bet. Loser pays for the whole tab tonight. Deal, Siren replies. Just like that, the tension evaporates and the party is back on fire. The boys are screaming. It's the mage versus the warrior. Siren grips Antho's hand, thinking to himself, I just gotta hold out as long as I can before I let him win. And then a voice screams, ready? Go. Their hands slam together, muscles straining with everything they had. Then, bam, a heavy thud rattled the table so hard the beer mugs nearly took a flight. Lumina and the rest of the squad just stood there, legit terrified. By the time the dust settled, Siren was slumped back in his chair with actual steam rising off his body. It happened so fast, Siren was basically lagging. Like, wait, what just hit me? The crew scrambled over, looking way too worried for a simple game. Siren, you still breathing? Lumina yelled, sounding half-panicked. Antho looked at his own hands, sweating. My bad, man. I didn't think I was pushing that hard. Since when did you get this soft, Siren? Lumina sighed, totally disappointed. Seriously, Antho, you're such a meathead. Antho felt a bit guilty for nearly breaking his friend's arm. He cleared his throat and muttered, Look, my bad. Tonight's on me. I'll cover the tab. But Siron wasn't having it. Forget that. I lost fair and square, Siren said, forcing a shaky, awkward smile. But seriously, you've gotten scary strong, man. Siren reached into his pocket to grab some cash, but that's when everything went sideways. His heart skipped a beat as he realized he'd messed up. In his rush to pay, he fumbled his pouch, and 5 massive gold coins went rolling across the floor for everyone to see. The whole place went dead silent before the crew exploded. Is that gold? You're carrying 5 of those. Lumina snatched one up, her eyes bugging out. Siren, where did you get this kind of bank? That's like a whole month of profit for a top-tier merchant. Siren caught Antho's expression and immediately thought, oh man, I am so dead. Lumina held the coin up to the light, her voice getting suspicious. For real, Siren, where does a guy like you get this much moolah? Siren started sweating, stuttering out the first thing that came to mind. I got sponsored? Before he could finish, the brown-haired guy jumped in. Wait, what? You're telling me you're set for life now? That comment hit Siren like a truck, and he immediately started waving his hands. No, it's not like that. But it was too late. He could see Antho was already getting triggered by the whole situation. Antho's face went bright red, looking like he was about to lose his mind. But then, he just let out this massive, heavy sigh. A second later, he stood up like a cat with its fur standing on end, screaming at the top of his lungs. Why are you guys making such a big deal over a few lousy coins? The chubby guy nearly fell off his chair, stammering out an apology. Lumina watched Antho, realizing that things were about to get awkward between him and Siren again. The rest of the gang just shrank back into their seats, their brains instantly flashing back to the old days. They were all thinking the exact same thing. Ever since they were kids, Antho always got weirdly sensitive whenever Siren was around. Antho took a deep breath, trying to get his temper under control. He clapped his hands together, trying to kill the weird vibe. Anyway, did you guys hear the latest rumor? The chubby guy took the bait instantly, desperate to change the subject. Oh, you mean that man-eating beast hiding in the mountains? The brown-haired kid nodded fast. Yeah, I heard that too. All the local wildlife has been disappearing lately. Lumina let out a tiny sigh of relief, crisis averted. Nice save, kid, she thought. Just like that, the tension evaporated and everyone started geeking out over the monster gossip. My dad said it's basically a giant bear on steroids, one of them added. Siren finally joined in, happy to move on. Right, my old man said the same thing. But why would something from the north wander all the way down here? I know why, Lumina chimed in. Maybe it's mating season or something? Anyway, they say it's out hunting every single day. So we gotta be careful, she continued. But it stays pretty deep in the forest, so we're safe as long as we don't go looking for trouble. Suddenly, Antho's eyes got that sharp, dangerous look in them. He leaned in, a wicked grin forming. So, What if we went and hunted it ourselves? The table went quiet. Us? They yelled in unison. Antho nodded, looking totally serious. Yeah, we'd be heroes to the village. I mean, you guys have seen my skills, right? Antho said, his confidence coming back in full force. If it's just a bear, we don't need the adults to handle it. Let's go take that thing down together. Seeing him so hyped up, the brown-haired guy started getting excited too. Man, imagine the bragging rights if you actually bagged a bear on your own. Antho, a normal bear is one thing, but this? Siren blinked, totally stunned by the suggestion. Wait, you're actually serious? Heck yeah, a bear. Seeing the looks of awe on his friends' faces, Antho started feeling himself. All right, it's settled. We move out at dawn. He shot a look over at Siron. You're coming with us, right, Siron? Lumina's eyes practically sparkled. Siron's coming too? Antho just shrugged like it was obvious. Duh. He used to roll with us back in the day, didn't he? Siren didn't even hesitate. If I can help out, I'm in. Antho grinned and raised his glass. Perfect. Tomorrow morning, we meet up at Lumina's place. You got it, Lumina shouted. They all clinked their glasses together, screaming, time for a bear hunt. Man, we're actually going hunting with Antho, Siren thought, taking a sip of his drink. He was low-key buzzing with excitement. This definitely wasn't in the plan, but he wasn't complaining. Time flew by, and before he knew it, the sun was starting to peek over the horizon. Lumina kicked open her door, looking ready for war. Siren, you awake? It's go time. Siren finished strapping a short blade to his thigh and gave her a nod. Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do this. The two of them stepped out into the morning air. Lumina waved her arms at the rest of the crew waiting ahead. We're all set over here. The squad waved back, hyped and ready for the hunt of their lives. Antho's out here trying to flex, warning the squad that if they've gotten too rusty to keep up, he's straight up leaving them behind. Siren just chuckles, telling him not to sweat it. Then, the crew dives deep into the thick, eerie fog of the woods. Moments later, they're getting to work, dropping the gear and clearing the spot. Our big buddy's putting in overtime, securing the nets to the branches. He gives the signal to the guys below. Watching them work so perfectly together, Siren can't help but be impressed. Man, you guys are fast with those traps, Siren says. The blue-haired kid just grins back. Bro, we're just getting started. The real heavy lifting is on Antho. He's out scouting, and when he spots deep claw marks on a tree, he knows a bear is definitely lurking nearby. Antho shouts out, listen up. We're officially in the scouting zone. Keep your eyes peeled. If you spot it, do not provoke it. Just fall back and hit me up immediately. The crew shouts back their confirmation like a well-oiled machine. Seeing this, Siren's low-key fanboying. He thinks, damn, Antho really is a total pro at this. Antho looks back and catches Lumina humming a little tune she's looking way too cute and totally into the hunt. But after a few steps, a thought hits Siron. Searching on foot is gonna take forever. Wait, I got an idea. What if I use my sense domain? He shuts his eyes tight, focusing his energy to help Antho track this beast down way faster. In a split second, Siron is locked in, total focus mode, but he doesn't see a bear. Instead, a gruesome image flashes in his mind, the mangled corpse of a beast with a massive chunk of flesh ripped out. Siren's heart skips a beat. What the hell was that? He looks back at his friends and realizes something is seriously wrong. I've got a bad feeling about this. Guided by his heightened senses, Siren starts moving forward, one cautious step at a time. He shields his eyes, totally stunned by what he's seeing. He pushes through the leaves, a single thought looping in his head like a broken record. No way. No freaking way. Just as he's about to reach the spot from his vision, a heavy hand slams onto his shoulder. Siren, it's Antho. He jerks Siren back, demanding answers. What are you doing, man? You can't just vanish from our sight without saying a word. Antho is straight up screaming now. Because of you, but the words die in his throat. The sight in front of them shuts Antho up instantly. Right at their feet is a massive beast's carcass, surrounded by a literal graveyard of dead animals, scattered everywhere. Anthos shaking, wondering what kind of nightmare created this. By now, the rest of the crew has finally caught up. It's a horror show. Bodies aren't just on the ground, they're hanging from the freaking trees. The big guy yells, "What is that?" Antho tries to respond. "It's..." Siren cuts him off mid-sentence. "We need to bail. Now. This isn't the work of any normal bear." Antho's jaw drops. "Wait. What?" Siren keeps going. "We have to tell the adults and lock down this mountain. We might even need the city to send in high-level soldiers for this." Antho grabs his shoulder, stuttering. Hold on. Siron? Soldiers? For real? We don't even know what we're looking at yet. What are you even saying? We can handle this ourselves, right?" Siren turns his head, cold as ice. "Didn't you see it? This isn't a bear we can just handle." Antho. Seeing Siron's dead serious look, Antho loses it. "What do you know? I'm the captain here, and I make the calls." Seeing the two of them clash, Lumina's hands are shaking. She whispers, "Antho, Siren's right. This isn't normal." Siron is trying his best to stop them. "No, listen to me. Please, just listen for once." But Antho isn't hearing it. He barks back, "You're always like this. You never recognized me as the leader, did you? I told you stop treating me like the idiot I used to be." Siron is stunned. Antho, wait. Suddenly, a rustle from the shadows freezes him. A cold chill races down his spine, and the others feel it too. Our big buddy is trembling now. "Guys, do you see that? It's coming this way." Antho snaps into action, aiming his bow forward. He pulls the string back with everything he's got, ready for whatever's coming. The rest of the squad follows suit, arrows pointed at the noise. The brown-haired kid is shaking like a leaf, his aim drifting higher and higher. He's paralyzed with fear, his voice cracking. "Antho, what is that? What the hell is that monster?" Out of the shadows emerges a massive wolf, looking absolutely feral and thirsty for blood. Siren bites his lip. A monster. A mystical entity that completely spits in the face of evolution. Memories flash through his head. "I saw this in a bestiary once. That thing is..." In that split second, Antho lets out a war cry and fires his arrow. "Die, you beast!" But the wolf just tilts its head, dodging it like it was nothing. Seeing that, the brown-haired kid starts to lose his mind. It dodged. Siren's jaw hit the floor. He realized right then this wasn't just a wolf. It was a straight-up werewolf. The way it moved, definitely not just acting on instinct. He knew he was dealing with a monster that actually had a brain. Pro tip from Siron: monsters are basically animals on steroids. Faster, meaner, and some of them actually think before they bite. The nerds are still arguing over where they came from, but word is they evolved in some freakish environment totally different from ours. The crowd was absolutely losing it, stuttering in pure terror. It dodged an arrow? Crazy. Now that wolf's showing off its pearly whites like it's looking at an all-you-can-eat buffet. Those sharp eyes locked in before it pounced. Our guy just panicked and screamed, "Move! Get out of here right now." No arguments there. The whole squad turned tail and hauled butt the other way to save their skins. Problem is, they're lost. One guy shouts, "If we go down, it'll..." But someone else cuts him off. "The mountain. Head for the mountain." Absolute chaos. Everyone's scrambling in every direction just trying to stay alive. But Siren? He didn't budge. He stood his ground, weapon ready, staring down that massive beast like a boss. His crew's screaming his name. They're thinking, is this guy for real? Is he seriously trying to be the bait right now? Siren was hyper-focused, locked into the zone. Another bolt flies, zip. That beast is built like a tank with hide like stone. A tiny crossbow's basically a toothpick to it. It swiped, but Siren's too quick. "Missed me." Siren slipped the hit perfectly, and now the big guy's sounding real cranky about it. He's gasping for air. This thing is way too fast. And that skin? Thick as hell. Only one way to keep everyone alive. I gotta lure it away. Facing that mountain of fur and teeth, Siren didn't flinch. He was sticking to his plan. Super risky? Yeah, big time. It lunged again, but our boy got lucky and danced out of the way just in time. He's backpedaling, creating space. Every time he successfully dodges an attack, the beast gets more tilted. Pure rage. Its eyes were glowing with fury. But then, plot twist. It suddenly stops caring about Siron entirely. He realized it too late. No, the monster just ignored him and charged straight for the rest of the group. They had no clue what nightmare was coming. The leader's barking, "Drop the heavy stuff. Move your butts, fast." Everyone else is booking it, but Antho is just standing there like a deer in headlights. "You guys go on," he yells. Lumina turns back like, "Antho, what are you even doing?" Man, he's shaking, tears in his eyes, but he's not budging. "Siren, I can't just leave him behind. I won't." Lumina looked like she'd been hit by lightning. She just stood there, tears streaming, totally speechless. She screams his name, but that wolf is right on Antho's heels. The line between life and death, razor thin. Antho looks back and sees the horror, but all he can think is, no way. Is Siren actually dead? He's spiraling, losing his cool. "This is on me. It's my fault I dragged him into this. I should have listened when he said to run down." Then, bam, a massive blast of light hits that beast out of nowhere. Antho's clueless about what's happening, but it's easy to see the monster is in absolute agony from that light. Lumina's hyped, screaming, "It's dead." The rest of them are just like, "Wait, was that actual magic?" Siren skids in, drenched in sweat. He only has enough breath to scream, "Run! Get moving! Now! It's not over. Not even close." You know things are bad when Siren looks this rattled. That dead monster starts twitching. It stands up, shaking it off, looking even meaner and more toxic than before. Lumina's shivering. Just a flash of light? Then zoom, that huge beast is barreling toward them again. Too late to run. Antho realizes his body's glitching. He's trying to move his legs, but they're not listening. Nothing. He's stuck. Lumina's booking it, trying her absolute hardest to stay ahead of the beast. Right under those claws, she loses her footing. She's not gonna make it. Total nightmare fuel. She tripped at the worst possible time. With those claws closing in, Lumina's officially out of options. Tears everywhere. Siren's like, "Not on my watch." He's doing everything humanly possible to hold that monster back. And Tho's screaming for him. While Siren's distracted, the wolf swings a massive claw right at his blind spot. His face is pure terror. Siren has to move now. He pulls a blink and teleports out of there. The monster's looking around confused. Then, boom! Another massive light show and a huge explosion. Lumina screams Siren's name. That light is pure, concentrated energy, and it slams right into the monster's chest. Deep, the beast's power is tanking. Siren's head is spinning like crazy. What's the play here? I was gonna dump it after the light show, but that monster's claws are no joke. No way I'm letting it corner me. Neither of us are in the clear yet. Then boom, Siren gets a wild idea to literally yeet this thing off its feet. He's cycling through options: light magic, gravity shifts, or just straight up wrecking the symmetry of the world. Siren reaches out, gently touching his own hand from another dimension? Yeah, he's definitely made contact. Their hands lock. An insane, blinding flash erupts. This right here? This is the knowledge of the nameless. The two-dimensional space just vanishes. Siren standing tall, thinking about mass. The beast? It's beyond pissed and totally lost. Before the monster can even process what's happening, wham! Siren sends it flying like a ragdoll. He's not stopping there. Siren goes full aggro, and the beast lets out a literal death roar. For a split second, Siren's brain goes into overdrive. Why does this world even exist? Questions are hitting him like a freight train. What's it mean to exist? What is mass? Really? Why does stuff even have weight? He's deep in his feelings now. A golden light starts expanding right in front of him, the same void he saw in his dreams. It's happening. This world is totally lopsided, he says. Right then, cracks start ripping through the space where the light lives. The light starts surging with massive energy. Siren isn't done yet. Not even close. If the universe existed before everything else, the only way to exist is to break the balance. He reaches for the rift. The rift spreads fast. The air shatters like glass, revealing a hazy, mysterious void right before Siron's eyes. Mass is the key, and he can literally shove it into the photons of light itself. Back to reality, Siron hits the wolf with a thundering impact that literally rocks the entire cliffside. Through the thick dust and smoke, a single, blinding golden dot appears in midair. Light starts flowing backward. Siron's moving so fast he's basically a blur. You can't even track him with your eyes. He just watches. The ground is still shaking from the absolute unit of a shockwave he just unleashed. Siron's on edge, eyes wide, breathing hard. Ha! It finally stopped moving. He stares at the massive wolf, totally motionless on the ground. Siron's jaw drops. He finally gets it. Amen, I see it now. You break symmetry with spatial knowledge, that nameless stuff I was talking about. There's a secret trick to giving matter mass. Use that, and you can even make light heavy. Siron's grinning from ear to ear. Finally, I actually get it. He looks at the monster. Why the hell is something this dangerous hanging out in these mountains anyway? Siron's wondering how he missed it, but then AIIEE. A terrifying scream rips through the air. The pack, Siron whips around, looking up the cliff. Wait, I'm not the only one here. Up on the ledge, Ant and the crew are absolutely losing their minds with fear. Someone's already crying. Right in front of them, a whole squad of werewolves is closing in fast. Leading the pack is a different beast, an alpha with glowing red eyes and pure evil in its gaze. Ant's group is backed against the edge, literally shaking. They're all looking at Ant like he's their last hope. Martini's trembling, calling for Ant. Lumina is just straight up sobbing. Ant's terrified, but he's trying to hide it. He grits his teeth. I'll draw them off. You guys get down the cliff. Now. Red hair panics. You crazy? You'll die. But Ant just snaps back. It's the only way we all don't end up as kibble. He looks back, eyes tearing up. Just survive, okay? Don't let me and Siron die for nothing. Just as things get dialed to 11, a flash of hope streaks across the sky. Dropping straight out of the blue, it's Siron. He used a teleportation move to pull a total clutch save. You okay? They're all over him, half relieved, half freaking out. Dude, we thought you were toast. Lumina's a mess, crying her eyes out. Siron just looks at his friends for a beat before finally speaking. My bad, Siron says. Ant's biting his lip, trying to act tough, but his face says otherwise. Sorry for the scare, Siron says, patting Ant's shoulder. Now, back off. I've got this. Ant's jaw hits the floor as Siron walks toward the pack. Aner screams, What are you doing? Run. Siron doesn't even flinch. It's fine, he says, cool as a cucumber. Total boss move. Siron ain't no rule breaker, but he's definitely a risk taker. He steps up, eyes locked on the danger ahead. No turning back now. On the other side, a pack of bloodthirsty werewolves, howling like they haven't eaten in a decade. And they're coming in fast, scary fast. The distance is closing. The alpha is leading the charge, looking like he's ready to tear Siron a new one. But our boy, Siron, cool as a cucumber. He starts charging up this glowing sphere of pure light in his palm. Flashbang, anyone? Lumina's jaw hits the floor, and even the red-haired hothead is losing it. This isn't the same weak light magic from before. Siron just lets the mana flow. A magic circle pops up on his forehead like a neon sign. He's literally stuffing mass into light particles. Nerd power. That light ball is getting massive. He feels the power peaking. He's ready to let it rip. Boom, Siron hurls that glowing orb forward with everything he's got. It streaks through the air, creating a mini hurricane in its wake. Before that wolf can even blink, straight to the neck. The light pierces through like a divine arrow. That howl, pure, unadulterated pain. Scratch one wolf. Siron's like, wait, I actually did that? Kid's finally realizing he's got that dog in him. The rest of the pack sees their buddy get folded and they're pissed. They lock eyes on Siron and swarm him like it's a Black Friday sale. Claws out, teeth bared. They're literally seconds away from turning him into human confetti. Siron says, "Not today, boys." He blinks out of existence, dodging the swipe and reappearing way up high. The wolves are left looking confused as hell. Round 2. Another light bomb coming right up. For a split second, his eyes glow. He sees familiar faces in his mind. It's go time. Crash. A literal meteor shower of light rains down, punching holes through wolf hide like they're made of wet paper. Smoke everywhere. Howls of misery. Anner and the crew are just standing there with their mouths open, completely shook. One of them whispers, "He's a real deal mage." Einer's just nodding along, like, "Yeah, no kidding." Siren's out here playing a high-speed game of whack-a-mole, dropping werewolves left and right with pure magic. But here's the catch, this much mana usage is draining him dry. He's huffing and puffing, barely hanging on. Just as he catches his breath, a wolf tries a sneaky backstab. Dirty move. Siron reacts fast, blasting it back with a burst of light. The wolf whimpers, but it's still standing. That's when the wolf realizes the hits aren't landing like they used to. Siren's running out of gas. Panic mode. Engaged. Siron sees his magic getting weaker and his heart starts hammering. The wolf smirks, "Yeah, these things can smile," and lets out a roar to call for backup. It's about to get crowded. Every wolf that was down just got a second wind. They're charging back in, twice as aggressive as before. Einer's sweating bullets now. "Siren, look out." He screams, sensing the danger. Lumina's yelling for him to run, but Siren's just watching the horde close in. It looks like game over. He's exhausted. Every breath feels like lead. But then, he decides he's got one more trick up his sleeve. No quitting. Siren grinds his teeth and reaches deep into his soul. Can I really pull this off? He wonders. He's gasping for air, but his mind is racing. There's one last-ditch effort he can try. His eyes turn this eerie sapphire blue as he stares down the chaos. It's now or never. He's trying to balance a swirling vortex of energy while a literal sea of monsters is sprinting at his face. Anthan is losing his mind, screaming, "Siren, it's too dangerous. Get out of there." Lumina is actually crying, begging him to run. It's high drama, folks, but Siren's tuned them out. He's standing his ground like a boss. He's nervous, sure, but his gaze is sharp enough to cut glass. Sweat's pouring down, lips pressed tight, and then bam, his pupils glow with a cold, icy blue light. He taps into something ancient, something dark, a power as deep and endless as a black hole. The pressure is so insane it almost knocks him back. It's like trying to hold a hurricane in your hands. He braces himself, teeth clenched, trying to contain the sheer amount of raw mana exploding from his body. His skin literally starts to flake away into dust. The price of this power is high, but he doesn't blink. Not once. Suddenly, from both hands, Siren unleashes a wave of supernatural energy that defies logic. The horde of wolves? They didn't stand a chance. The mana hits them like a freight train made of gods. Bright blue light incinerates everything it touches. The pack was huge, sure, but Siren's power was just on a whole different level. The wolves? Frozen. They couldn't move an inch. Lumina and the kids were watching Siren go full god mode, and honestly, they were absolutely shook. Anthan was standing there with his jaw on the floor, total system shock from what was happening right in front of him. "No way," he muttered. Even seeing it with his own eyes, he couldn't wrap his head around this level of power. It's just too unreal. Then, bam, a massive gray-black wolf lunges from the pack, claws out and dripping with malice, aiming straight for Siren's throat. Siren blasts it back with a mana surge, but he's hitting the red zone. He's running on empty, and his energy is finally reaching its limit. If he keeps this up, his soul is gonna scatter like dust in the wind. Then, it clicks. He remembers something. Flashback. He remembers that terrifying moment with the crystal ball when he nearly deleted himself by pouring in too much immortal energy. His power was literally draining through a tube. Back then, Siren almost vanished from existence. He tries to replicate that feeling to escape this death trap. He needs a manual mana dump, and he needs it now. All that energy? Out of there. Siren lets out a primal roar. I'm sending it, he screams, pouring every bit of his willpower into one final, desperate shot. He thrusts his hands forward, unleashing the mother of all blasts right into the heart of the monster pack. The force is insane. Trees are snapping, dust is swirling, it's like a mini hurricane hit the forest. The werewolves? Toasted. A massive gold beam of light rips through the woods, erasing everything in its path. Total annihilation. Then, silence. Everything goes quiet as the dust settles. A single leaf drifts to the ground, revealing a completely cleared-out path. Talk about an open road. The surviving monsters are literally vibrating with fear, unable to even stand. Except for one stubborn mutt still trying to act tough. Siren emerges from the dust like a straight-up reaper. He stares that last wolf down with ice in his veins. Beat it, he snarls, his eyes burning with kill intent. And don't you ever come back. The wolves? Absolutely terrified. They don't need a second warning. They turn tail and run like their lives depend on it because they definitely do. Siren stands there for a second, looking cool. Then he starts wobbling. He's totally drained. Finally, he hits his breaking point. He falls back, and Anthon catches him just in time. The village kids rush over, crowding around their hero. Lumina's a total wreck, eyes red and tears streaming down her face. She gently brushes the hair off Siren's forehead. Anthon looks down, feeling pretty small. Let's head back, he sighs, looking at Siron's exhausted face. This hunt was a complete joke. Night falls. The village lamps are glowing in the distance. Out on the grass, Siron is staring up at the sky, just him and the stars. Anthon strolls up with a little smirk. Yo, when'd you wake up, man? Siron just grins back. Had a legendary nap. Woke up and just felt like stargazing for a bit. Anthon takes a seat. Siren's thinking, man, that was the best sleep I've had in ages. No nightmares. No weird visions. Just peace. He can't even remember the last time he felt this rested. But the moment he opened his eyes, a literal puddle of crying kids was surrounding his bed. Where am I? He asked, totally dazed. Lumina was sobbing. We thought you were a goner. Siren was low-key touched. He really did sleep like he was dead. Apparently, nobody left his side for a single second until he finally woke up. He looks around. Where's everyone else? Anthon tells him they're all busy in the kitchen. Anthon fills him in on what happened while he was out. Aside from Lumina taking a tumble, everyone's in one piece. But seriously, Anthon adds, your power? Absolute cheat code. We're all still shook. Siren just smirks, mission accomplished. Anthon looks at the stars, acting casual. Tomorrow we'll harvest the wolf skins and teeth. That loot's worth a fortune. What'd you call 'em again? Anthon asks. Woats, Siren replies. And yeah, those fangs aren't cheap. Anthon just laughs. Fair enough. Then, the mood gets heavy. He mumbles a quick, look, I'm sorry. Siren's like, huh? What for? He's totally caught off guard. Anthon won't even make eye contact. He stares off into the distance. I was just jealous of you, okay? Siren's mind, blown. Wait, what? Anthon flashes back to a snowy day when Siren was just sitting there, buried in his books. Anthon, Lumina, and the crew were walking by. The kid with the glasses said it first. Is it just me? Or is Siren actually kind of cool? Anthon had looked at him then, thinking the exact same thing. There was just something about Siren's vibe so focused, so different. It made Anthon feel some type of way. Anthon finally speaks up. Your dream. Siren's confused. My dream? Anthon just nods. Yeah, the one you're chasing. He turns away, face turning bright red. I hope you actually pull it off. Man, respect earned. Siren's heart basically melted hearing those honest words, and he flashed a grin that could light up the whole room. Yeah, thanks man. Seriously. The two of them just sat there under a sky full of shimmering stars, soaking in the total peace. But come sunrise, the vibe shifted as Lumina started low-key begging Siren not to bounce. Bruh, why the rush? Can't you just hang out for like one more day? Siron gave Antho a firm handshake, his eyes showing he wasn't exactly thrilled to leave either. Trust me, I'd love to stay, but I've got a mountain of unfinished research waiting for me back at the academy. Antho got the memo and didn't try to guilt-trip him. Catch you later then, Siron. Antho stood there with all the village kids, cheering him on to go become the most legendary mage the world's ever seen. Siron gave them a confident smirk. I'll definitely come back to visit you guys. See ya. Suddenly, Lumina came charging toward him like a literal wrecking ball. She tackled him into a massive hug, her voice all shaky from crying. You better come back. If you get your mage license and start acting like you're too cool for me, you're dead meat. Siron couldn't help but laugh at that threat. Got it? Loud and clear. He waved one last time to the squad. Stay safe, everyone. The village kids kept waving until he was just a speck on the horizon. Antho dropped a hand on Lumina's shoulder and let out a long sigh. Man alive. Looking at his little sister's puffy, red eyes, Antho couldn't resist being a bit of a savage. Look, if you're gonna miss the guy that much, you want me to go chase him down and drag him back for you? Lumina wiped her face, grumbling under her breath. Ugh, shut up. It's not like he's gone forever or anything. But as she watched Siron's silhouette disappear, her eyes were full of pure Stan energy. Siron is just so freaking cool. Watching him chase those big dreams, Lumina didn't look away until he was completely gone, swallowed up by the ancient trees in the distance. After clearing the village, Siron hauled his gear all the way to a place called SSS. He pulled out a notebook, his brain flipping back to a memory. He remembered asking Ni once, "Hey, I'm curious, how are we supposed to find our specific lab in a maze of 89 different buildings?" And Ni just broke it down for him. Since you're the new guy in the group, I'll show you the ropes on how to navigate this place without getting lost. Ni pointed toward the corner. You see those numbers up on the ceiling? 19, Siron answered. Ni kept the tutorial going, explaining that the next step was checking the color of the doors. Realizing the trick, Siron looked to his right and bingo, a yellow door. He started scribbling down notes about everything he saw, treating the whole walk like a high-level logic puzzle. Room 19, yellow door, that equals number 5. He kept walking, whispering to himself, okay, now I should hit a 3-way split in the path. Siron checked both ways and nodded. So that means there are 3 other wings connecting right here. Huh. He logged everything in his notebook, doing some quick mental math, replaced the variables with 10, y, and z, and then tossed them into a formula. The result was what they called the master key. Siron still remembered how shook he was when Ney first explained this crazy system. Who even comes up with this stuff? And Ney told him the rumor. One of the founders was a literal savant, a genius whose brain worked on another level. That was the person who cooked up this whole equation, basically mapping out all of SSS inside a mental construct. Ni narrowed his eyes, recalling the past. The first time I showed Jiruki this math, he said his brain was basically buffering. Siron pushed open a purple door and peeked inside. It was a long hallway that led to a main room with 2 side paths. Siron was low-key impressed. Damn, that equation is actually beautiful. He stepped toward the room at the very end of the hall. Right there on the door was the sign, Supernatural and Spiritual Science Research Group. Before he even stepped inside, Siron heard someone screaming their head off. Why would you leak that info right now? I told you we had a 57% chance of winning. The guy getting yelled at didn't back down, immediately firing back. Total nonsense. I wasted so much time listening to your trash advice. The first guy exploded again. Don't you get that the bigger the sample size, the better the accuracy? The other dude lost it. Only if you have infinite money, you absolute lunatic. Siron gripped the handle and slowly turned it. He was still clutching his notebook with the secret formula. He realized that finding his team through the maze of SSS was just like piecing together a complex puzzle. As the door creaked open, he had a little moment of zen. He'd learned that he needed to find the root causes, the precious links, and value every single second spent with his people. That's how he'd take it, step by step. Behind the door, Ni and Iruki were in the middle of a legendary shouting match. Siren just stood there and cleared his throat. So, you guys crawled back after losing everything, huh? The second Aruki saw him, he shouted Siren's name, but Nay cut him off to get the first word. Siren, sit down and listen to what I've got to say, then you'll see I'm right. Siren just stood there with a goofy grin on his face. Aruki looked at him like he'd grown a second head. Why is he just standing there smiling like a weirdo? But inside, Siren was just feeling incredibly grateful. Thanks for everything, guys. He gave them a massive, radiant smile. I'm home. Later, at training ground number 48, Siron used one hand to manipulate his mana, crystallizing it into a glowing gold orb of pure magic. He leaned back, hands behind his head, looking totally intrigued. So, is this luminescent photon the thing you wanted to flex for us? Did you just crank up the output or something? Aruki, standing right next to him, shook his head. Nah, man. This is something else entirely. Aruki pointed out the weirdest part. Usually, those photons should be radiating outward, but Siren's magic was sucking the energy inward. That's when it finally clicked for Nay. Boom! Out of nowhere, Siren lets out a palm strike that absolutely obliterates the massive boulder in front of him. Nin and Aruki, jaws on the floor. Nin scrambles over to the wreckage, checking the cracks and screaming, "What in the world was that? You punched a hole through solid rock with just light? That's not just magic, man. That's straight up hacking." Aruki's looking confused. Wait, so those long-winded incantations I've been practicing, what were those? Nin just gives a guilty, awkward grin. Oh, those? Just a little prank, Siren admits. I actually developed this new move myself. I call it the photon cannon. Aruki strokes his chin, getting all technical. Photons, as far as I know, that's some high-level fusion stuff. Mixing two different perceptions perfectly is basically impossible, and anything with photons is a nightmare to pull off. What kind of insane spell is this? Siren's like, I'll explain, but let's bounce and find a better spot. He gives them a look. I've got something else to drop on you guys. 2. At a spot off campus. Aruki is losing his mind, stuttering over his words. Is this for real? Nin is sitting right there, looking just as shook. You actually added mass to photons? That makes 0 sense. Can you do that with electricity too? Nin's too hyped to even eat. He drops his fork and stares Siren down. It's freaking mind-blowing that he could give mass to weightless particles. Nin wipes the sweat off his forehead. He's literally overheating. He still can't wrap his brain around what Siron just said. My head is literally spinning right now. You actually pulled it off? Siren just shrugs. I guess it's a new discovery, he says, totally chill. Because of this, that heavy feeling I had is finally gone. I finally understand what those haunting nightmares were trying to tell me. Hearing that, Nin is stoked for him. Man, that is absolutely legendary. If he can actually prove this theory and make it real, it won't just rattle the magic world, it'll flip the entire planet upside down. But Aruki still has some doubts. Look, it's amazing, seriously. But knowing the theory doesn't mean just anyone can use photon magic. Even if you've reached some god-tier enlightenment, making others understand it is a whole different beast. Nin is sweating bullets now. This is way bigger than we imagined, guys. Siren slows it down. That's why I need to ask you guys something. He gives a little smirk and shares his plan with Nin and Aruki. I want to dig deeper, but we're on break, so the Academy Library is a no-go, right? I can't get into the Noble Library by myself. So, you guys gonna help me out? Nin's worried. I mean, sure, but why can't you just walk in? Is this related to that thing he wanted to say? Siren's eyes go dark, and he stays quiet for a long second. If I tell them the truth, are they gonna look at me differently? But if I keep hiding it, we'll never be real friends. He looks up at his two best bros. Finally, he makes up his mind. No more running. Look, I'm done hiding. Siren takes a breath and drops the truth bomb on Nin and Aruki. I'm not a noble. I'm just a commoner. A regular nobody. Nin is stunned. The words hit Eriki like a bolt of lightning. When I was just a baby, I was abandoned in a stable. My parents now? They just found me and raised me. My dad is just a regular hunter. After Siren finishes his story, the table goes dead silent. Nobody says a word. After a while, Nin breaks the awkward vibe. So that's why you've been acting so emo lately? Who cares about that? Eriki suddenly cuts him off, looking dark. Who cares? Nin snaps back. Eriki, what is your problem? Eriki's voice is cold. Nin, do you even realize what this jerk just said? Veins are popping out of Eriki's forehead as he starts yelling. Magic, academics, everything. You're telling me this guy only started learning a year ago? In 3 months, he climbed to class 5 and clapped me in front of the whole school. Nin and Siron just stare as Eriki keeps ranting. And he did it while being disabled too, not to mention dating a literal genius mage. Nin finally jams his hand over Iruki's mouth to shut him up. He grins at Siron. Siron, honestly? Where you came from doesn't change a thing for us. Nin makes a finger heart and winks at him. To me, you're the goat. Love ya, man. Siren freezes for a second, then the waterworks start. Thanks guys, he says, sounding genuinely happy. Seriously. Eriki rolls his eyes. Ugh, love ya? Are you guys dating now? Also, wait, does Amy know about this? Nin leans in, curious as hell. Wait, how long have you two even known each other? Since we were little kids, Siren admits. Though, our relationship was pretty rocky back then. Nin is hyped. Spill the tea. I need to know everything. Rewind the clock. The capital of the Tomia Kingdom, in a town called Basuka. Years ago, in a trashy slum called Radom, a kid in filthy, ragged clothes is running for his life, clutching a moldy piece of bread. Picture this. A pack of low-life thugs, armed to the teeth with rusty knives and clubs, hunting down a kid like he's prey. The streets screaming with their threats. You're dead meat, you little rat. You think you can just jack our stuff? That's Canis. Our boy is sprinting, lungs absolutely on fire. Exhausted and shaking, Canis slips into a literal hole in the wall, a damp, stinking dump he calls home. He calls out for Aaron, his voice trembling. In that wreckage of a room, a frail little girl is shivering on a piece of scrap wood. That's Arian. She looks like a ghost, struggling just to take a breath. Canis panics, heart dropping into his stomach. Arian? Hey, talk to me. Does it hurt? Where does it hurt? While he's checking on her, he pulls out a crusty piece of bread he managed to swipe. Look, I got food. You gotta eat, okay? You can't leave me. He's straight up crying now, totally desperate. Help, please, anyone. He spins around, but too late. Those 3 thugs from before, they're already standing right there, blocking the light. They've got that, I'm gonna enjoy this look on their faces. Found you, kid. Before Canis can even blink, he takes a brutal slap to the face. His skinny little body gets tossed across the room like a rag doll. He screams out in pain while those heartless bastards just laugh like it's a joke. In his head, he's thinking, this was supposed to be my safe spot. I wasn't supposed to be found here. Canis tries to shield himself, but this big tank of a guy just starts raining down kicks. Every blow comes with another insult, another curse. You little cockroach, where did you think you were gonna run? Canis just feels hollow inside. It's over. They found him. The lead thug picks up the bread Canis nearly died for and starts shoving it into his own mouth, laughing with his mouth full. Pure disrespect. Canis, you're literal trash. You really thought you could hoard this precious loot all for yourself? He's cackling like he's won the lottery. Behind him, another meathead grabs Arian and throws her over his shoulder. The leader kicks Canis right in the teeth one last time. Useless brat. Something snaps. Canis screams with pure, unadulterated hate. Touch her and I'll end you. I'll kill every single one of you. I swear it. But to these guys, a threat from a dying kid is the funniest thing they've heard all year. They're doubling over, howling with laughter. You hear that? The runt thinks he's a killer. Oh, I'm shaking. One of them squats down, looking Canis in the eye with a smug grin. Try it in your next life, kid. Then he looks at the blonde guy and nods. Finish him. Now, the blonde thug raises a jagged knife high, ready to plunge it straight into Canis's chest. Canis stares at that cold steel, his mind screaming, "If only I had the power." Erin is watching her brother's execution, absolutely losing it. In that final second, Canis just wishes. He looks at those 3 pieces of human garbage with every ounce of spite he has left. And then, silence. The thugs freeze. Out of nowhere, this eerie, pitch-black smoke starts swirling around them. Before they can even scream, that shadow stuff rips the life right out of all 3 of them. One second they're tough guys, the next, they're screaming. What the hell is this? Canis just lies there, eyes wide, watching the most insane thing he's ever seen in his life. Blood splatters right across his face. He's stunned, thinking, what just happened? His eyes are bloodshot, his pupils shrinking to pinpricks from pure, raw shock. After deleting those 3, the black shadow wraps around Arian like a blanket and lifts her up gently. She's floating in that mysterious smoke until it slowly, carefully, places her right back into Canis's arms. The shadows begin to bleed together, swirling and thickening until a figure starts stepping out from the darkness. Canis can't look away. Then, this raspy, otherworldly voice echoes in his ears. "So, what do you think?" The thing in front of him is a nightmare blank white eyes and a deep red mouth that stretches all the way back to its ears. It leans in, dripping fresh blood onto Canis's face. "Magic's pretty fun, isn't it?" And suddenly, Canis starts laughing like a total maniac. That crazy laugh? That's his way of saying I'm in. Fast forward to the capital of Tomia Basuka. The city is glowing under the nightlights. High up on a rooftop overlooking the National Museum, a dark figure is watching the world below. No surprises, here it's Canis. He's scouting the place, noting that the security is absolutely insane tonight. Guards are everywhere, cycling through patrols like clockwork. Arian's voice cracks in his ear. "Whoa, I've never seen this many holy relics in one spot. These things are priceless artifacts that literally belong in a history book." Canis knows exactly what they're worth. He focuses. Forget the small stuff. Where's our real target? Arian checks the feed. The core of the mana control system, the Dragon Heart. She drops the intel. It's in the vault right in the middle of the 3rd floor. At least 15 guards are camped out right on top of it. Then comes the catch. Listen, until you actually grab that Dragon Heart core, you can't use a single drop of spiritual energy inside that building. Canis shrugs. "No magic. Huh, guess I'm doing this the old-fashioned way then." Arian sounds worried. "Just be careful, okay?" Canis just gives a cold, sharp smirk and leaps toward the museum like a shadow. He's moving like a ghost through the dark, but the second he hits the perimeter, he lets that shadow mana loose. His power surges out like giant black serpents, tearing through the museum walls like they're made of paper. Canis flies straight for the glass. He smashes through the window, landing right in the middle of the floor while the guards freak out. "What the? We got an intruder. Move, move," security's screaming, and Canis? His eyes go cold, pure killer vibes. He just mumbles under his breath. "Now?" Then bam, magic erupts. He's not playing around anymore, straight up neutralizing every guard in his path. They're tossed like ragdolls against the walls. The guards are losing it. How the hell is this kid using magic here? Blink and you'll miss it. Canis basically solos the entire security squad in a matter of seconds. A few survivors scramble for the alarm, screaming about a rogue mage. Arian's like, "Canis, move it. Fast. No more holding back." Canis floors it, knocking heads and clearing the path like it's absolutely nothing. Boom! He reaches the vault for the mana control system and just kicks the door down. Zero chill. Found it. The mana control core, the big prize. He grabs it before the dust even settles. Core in hand, he scans the room. The heist is officially a total success. But wait, the backup arrives. Guards everywhere, yelling that the core has been swiped. One guy starts to scream, "The core, it's," and then, lights out. Magic knocks him cold mid-sentence. One by one, they all drop. Then, someone starts walking up behind him. Slowly, The air gets heavy with dark energy. Canis doesn't even flinch. Perfect timing. Arian. It's his sister. She looks around the carnage, totally worried. Wait, Canis, you didn't actually kill them, right? Canis just shrugs it off. Relax, sis. He points to the bodies on the floor. They're just taking a forced nap. Trust me on this. Suddenly, kaboom. The whole museum shakes. Outside, the heavy hitters have arrived, and they sound beyond pissed. A voice booms, I don't know how you're using magic in a dead zone, but it ends now. This middle-aged guy in a suit steps out, hands literally glowing with fire. He is not happy. Leave the loot and maybe you'll live. Try to run? You're straight up toast. Through the thick smoke, Canis and Arian just stand there. Cold, unbothered. Legendary energy. The smoke clears, and the two siblings step into the light. The standoff of the century begins. The suit guy freezes. His voice starts shaking. No way. Dark mages? Canis doesn't wait. He unleashes a wave of pure darkness that literally swallows the commander's fire. The guy is struggling just to breathe. By the time he recovers, they're freaking gone. Where did they go? Just then, a soldier runs up, looking like he's seen a ghost. Commander, the mana core, it's officially stolen. The boss snaps out of it, fuming. They couldn't have teleported. They're still nearby. Find them now, no excuses. The troops scramble, but the commander is stuck in his own head. Something doesn't add up. Those kids were way too young. How did they bypass the system and swipe the core? It was too smart, too calculated, and that dark magic. It felt terrifyingly familiar. Then it hits him. Only one person in history could pull off magic that twisted. Darkness that eats the sun. A nightmare that brought the entire kingdom to its knees. The legendary archmage, Victor Asen. Just thinking the name sends chills down his spine. He starts sweating. But wait, Victor died in that accident 40 years ago, right? So who the hell is using his magic now? The city is in for one hell of a night. Cut to the Basuka Mountains. Two shadows are trekking through the peaks in the dead of night. It's the thieves, Canis and Arian. They enter a hidden chamber with a glass coffin in the center. Canis kneels, holding the core like a holy relic. We got it, Master. The final piece. Inside that glass, the man himself, Victor Asen. Canis slots the core into the machine. Arian is visibly shaking as the mechanism clicks into place. This is it, the moment of truth. Time to take back your throne, Master. Then, boom, a shockwave rips through the cave. Dust everywhere. But Canis? He's grinning like a maniac. It actually worked. A withered, bony hand claws its way out of the coffin. Then, a voice like sandpaper on gravel. 40 years. Finally. Victor's eyes snap open, burning with hate. Time to find that bastard. Canis looks up, totally hyped. But the big boss? He's literally fuming. Anpas Smith, you backstabbing snake. He roars, pure hatred dripping from his voice. Rewind 40 years. A massive fire. A scene straight out of a nightmare, with someone's dying screams echoing through the wall of flames. No, this research isn't just yours. The man howls into the inferno. He's losing it. I poured my blood, sweat, and soul into this. Anpas, how could you do this to me? The guy, Anpas, just stands there with his back turned. Silence. Heavy, suffocating silence. Why, Anpas finally turns around in the middle of that burning hellscape. Tears are streaming down his face, but he's laughing like a total psycho. He lets out this bone-chilling cackle and drops a cold truth bomb about their research. Before he even finishes the sentence, he just walks away, leaves the dude to bake in the fire. Ice cold. The man screams, he thrashes around like a madman, but it's useless. Fate already signed his death warrant in that burning building. Fast forward to now, the survivor, let's call him the master, stares at his hands, still covered in nasty burn scars. Living proof that he literally crawled back from the grave. It took 40 years to get my life back. He growls. 40 years. He clenches his fist so hard his knuckles go white. His eyes are straight up terrifying. Anpas, mirror him. You really thought you could live a cozy life after what you did to me? The master sits on his high throne, looking like a total final boss. Down below, Aaron and Canis are on their knees, showing some serious respect. Arin's all, master this and master that. Canis chimes in too. Yo, we only have a pulse because of you. You gave us this insane power, so just say the word. Our lives are yours to throw away. We're your loyal dogs until the end. The master glares at them, his voice deep and gravelly. I'm putting my chips on you guys. He spots Arian shaking like a leaf. Then he looks at Canis. His voice sounds like he swallowed a box of rusty nails, but it's got that don't mess with me authority. My precious disciples, he warns them. Be careful. Watch your backs out there. Anpas was always blinded by greed. He'd kill anyone to get what he wanted. The guy's a straight-up lunatic murderer. Meanwhile, at Anfis's office, the weather is peak horror movie vibes. Thunder's booming, rain's pouring, and water's streaking down the glass like tears. Alpheus stands up from his desk. He wanders over to the bookshelf, hesitating for just a second. He pulls one specific book and the shelf slides open to reveal a secret passage. Classic hidden room move. He grabs an oil lamp and creeps into the darkness. He sets the light down next to an old photo frame. He looks outside and mutters, thunder and lightning. His voice sounds super nostalgic, like he's remembering that exact same storm from years ago. He places his signature pocket watch on the shelf, the one he always carries. Standing in front of a portrait of his old friend, he whispers, "Never forgive me." Outside, the city of Basuka is drowning in a depressing downpour. Cut to the weekly academic meeting. The kingdom's top-tier professors are all bunched up, arguing and yapping away like it's a sport. While everyone else is hyped for the debate, our boy Seven is just sitting there, scratching his head and dying of boredom. Now I get why all the teachers tried to dodge this, he thinks. Who argues for 3 days straight? These people are built different. Seven looks like death warmed over. Pale face, massive bags under his eyes. Inside, he's literally screaming, I just want to go home. Please. He's only there because he's the rep for the Anpas Magic Academy. He watches the crowd and thinks, man, these guys are dedicated. The debate's been over for ages, but they're still talking shop even during the after-party. No off switch for these geniuses. Seven's holding a glass of wine, face all red. But he's not drunk, he's just totally simping for someone across the room. The only reason I'm still suffering through this is to talk to her, he thinks. He's searching the crowd for Ran Oan. He starts listing her stats like a true fanboy. Top 99 artists? Check. Royal pianist? Check. Basically a musical legend. He keeps stealing glances at her, his brain going a mile a minute. Wow, she's so chill even with a mob surrounding her. I can't even find an opening. If only Sienna was half as cool as she is. Suddenly plot twist, Rena turns around and locks eyes with him. Seven totally freezes. He actually spits his wine out like a cartoon character. Wait. What? Is she looking at me? No way. Impossible. Before he can even process it, Rena walks right up to him. So glad to meet you, she says. Seven is absolutely losing it. He stammers out, huh? Me? How do you even know who I am? Rena just gives him a sweet smile. Duh. You're the professor from the Anpas Magic Academy, right? Then she basically hits him with a critical strike, inviting him over to her place. The Oen mansion is right here in Gree. Seven is basically malfunctioning at this point, rambling like a total dork. Oh, cool, he says, but his heart is doing backflips. Is this happening? Is she into me? His face turns into a literal tomato. He's already daydreaming about their wedding. Talk about 0 to 60. Man's got it bad. Picture this. They have kids, right? Our boy Thut would totally go soft and ask her, babe, what should we name our little ones? Then she'd give him that $1 million smile and drop a bomb. How's Siron doing lately? That definitely wasn't the vibe Thut was going for. He froze up instantly. Talk about a vibe check. It felt like a literal bolt of lightning struck him right in the ears. He's like, holy hell, and his brain starts racing at 100 miles per hour. Siren Ariam. He'd seen that name before. Back during the admissions chaos, that was the one name that actually stuck in his head. Why? Because the kid lives at Ozen's place. Thut started sweating bullets. Turns out he's not just on a date, he's meeting the freaking parent. Old habits die hard. Thut immediately flipped the switch into full professor mode. He pulled himself together, acting all classy and gentlemanlike with the perfect vocabulary. "You've sent us a straight-up prodigy," he says. The kid is the absolute pride of the academy. Hearing Thut hype Siren up like that made her day. Vina was absolutely glowing. "Oh, for real? I'm so hyped to hear that. Tell me, does he have a lot of friends there?" Thut nodded, looking way too smug. "Man, the guy's a legend. Guys and girls both love him. Even the seniors are low-key jealous, honestly. I am too. Oh, and check this out, the kid's even got a girlfriend. She's pretty famous among the students." Suddenly, Vina's face just went totally dark. Thut kept digging his own grave. "But hey, he's hitting the books hard, so you don't even need to worry about that stuff." Vina tried to keep that smile on her face, but her voice was cold as ice. "So life is just great for him, huh? How nice for him." That's when it hit him. Thut realized he'd majorly messed up. You want me to give him a message? If you tell me, I'll..." She cut him off before he could even finish. "Forget it. Just knowing he's healthy is enough for me." Seeing Joy Na's mood tank like that, Thut panicked and tried to fix it. "Hey, look, don't worry. I'm not just bragging here, but Anpas Magic Academy is a legendary school. I mean, it's literally recognized by the kingdom itself as top tier." He leaned in, sounding super intense. "We're gonna give it our all, so please, don't stress." Vina was actually shocked by how much he seemed to care. Oh, but then she gave him this gentle, sunrise-level smile. "Thank you so much. Please look after Siren." That smile? It basically made Thut's soul leave his body. He was completely gone, just drowning in her sweetness at this point. After a few seconds of pure hesitation, he finally grew a pair and asked her, "Meeting like this? Total fate. Want to head back to Chris together tomorrow? I'd love to take you out for lunch too." Vina actually said yes. "Oh, that sounds absolutely amazing." But then she added, "I do have a performance to do in Basuka first, though." Thut went for the gold. "Mind if I come watch?" Vina nodded. "I'd be honored if you showed up." Thut was screaming with joy on the inside. "Score!" Then Vena got all serious. "Honestly, I'm worried no one will show up because of what's been going down in the capital." Thut asked, "Wait, what happened?" Vina sighed. "Well, just recently." She frowned, looking super hesitant. "Hell's Gate was attacked and a B-rank prisoner escaped. Some mystery dark mage did it. The capital is basically under martial law right now." Hearing that made Thut's face go pale in a second. His lips were literally trembling. "Did you just say?" Sweat was pouring down his face now. His voice was shaking. "A dark mage? Can you tell me everything you know about that?" Vina tried to remember the details. Well, I heard it was some old guy with white hair and," based on her description, Thut knew exactly who that old man was. It felt like his entire world just turned pitch black. He bowed fast, sounding totally desperate. "Forgive me, I gotta go. Right now." Vina was just standing there confused. "Huh?" Without wasting a single second, Thut bolted. He sprinted off like his life depended on it. Vina shouted after him, "Thut, where are you going so fast?" Professor Thut was running for his life while piecing the clues together. Dark mage, prisoner escape. It all made sense. He gritted his teeth. No doubt about it, this was his plan. Damn it, why does this crap always happen when I'm out of town? The night before, at the Hell's Gate prison where they keep the worst of the worst, a massive fire broke out. Inside that prison, bodies were piled up everywhere. One poor guy was being choked by pure magical force. He tried to fight back, but the darkness just snuffed him out. That dark energy turned into a jagged, lethal spear, ripping right through the poor guy's chest. The ones behind this absolute massacre? None other than Ozen and his two loyal-to-the-bone disciples. Dark magic has two main tricks: absorption and fusion. Canis was mulling that over while staring at a tiny ant crawling on the ground. Darkness sucks in all the energy around it and fuses it into one single attribute. Canis Minmin was deep in thought, staring off into the distance while blocking the ant's path. He wondered if his dark energy could actually do some damage yet. Just like that, his magic flickered out and crushed the ant flat. Gone. But then he watched the other ants. They were scrambling, trying to get as far away from him as humanly possible. The ant kept pushing until it finally escaped the shadow of his magic. Right then, it hit him. Darkness can't ever truly beat the light. Then, a raspy, old voice came from right behind him. "Well done, Canis." He spun around and saw Ozen standing right there. Canis whispers, "Master, in my book, you're the one we owe everything to. You literally snatched me and Aaron out of that living hell." The Great Snail Mage, yeah, weird name, but old man's terrifying. He looks at Canis, voice deep as a grave, and says, "If you just pushed a little harder." And then, boom, the evil snail slams his staff down. Pure, uncut dark magic erupts, crawling across the floor like a physical nightmare. Even the ants trying to scurry away get vaporized by that raw pressure. In a heartbeat, the darkness just takes over. Everything. Snail's voice, raspy but straight up commanding, rings in Canis's ear. "One day, kid, you'll be the one drowning out the light." Hearing that, Canis drops this totally wicked smirk, his eyes glowing with that thick, "you're already dead" energy. That creepy grin and those hollow eyes? Yeah, he never outgrew those. Fast forward and he's a full-on teenager now. But the soul? Still pitch black. Zero change in the dark and edgy department. Right now, it's a total bloodbath. Bodies everywhere, people crying out, "Help me, please." But those desperate screams? They just feed the beast inside Canis. He's going full savage mode, ending lives without blinking. No mercy, no cap. Shouts for help everywhere. "Save us." Too late. Canis's magic is slicing through them like invisible chainsaws, leaving absolutely nothing left of the poor targets. Watching her brother go absolutely mental, Arian stands right behind him, looking conflicted. She keeps her voice low. "Canis, this place has nothing to do with Master's revenge. Do you really have to go this hard?" Canis doesn't even turn around. He just hits her with that cold-blooded tone. "Arian, rule number 1. We trust the Master. Period." His lips curl into this tiny, smug smile. "You know how it is." He finally turns, looking her dead in the eye. Master never does anything without a reason. Arian just looks down, whispering, "Yeah, I get it, Canis." To her, her own brother is starting to look like a straight-up demon with that twisted smile. The three of them just stand there, cold as ice, watching the carnage unfold. Once the guards are mostly erased, the two disciples follow the old man deep into the prison. This place was built to be a fortress, but the evil snail? He just waves a hand and those massive iron bars snap like literal toothpicks. Prisoners start pouring out. One guy looks up, totally mind blown. "Whoa, your skills are legit." This prisoner is huffing with pure attitude, trying to act tough with Snail. "Thanks for the assist, Gramps. You some kind of mage?" Then he sees Canis and Arian and starts laughing. "What's with the kids? You taking them on a field trip or something?" He holds out a hand, all smug. "Nice to meet ya. I'm Kaken, the night cat. You've heard of me, right?" Snail just stares at Kaken's filthy hand like it's literal trash. He clicks his tongue, *tesk, *. His eyes go sharp, lethal. You can practically feel the killing intent. I finally step onto the battlefield myself, and all I find is a bunch of loudmouth brats. The prisoners lose it. Say what? Did this old geezer really just call us brats? Not knowing they're flirting with death, the mob charges at Snail. "So what if you're a mage? We've got the numbers. Let's wreck him." Before they can even get close? Lights out. Everything goes pitch black in a second. The prisoners start panicking, backing into each other. "What the? Why is it so dark? I can't see a thing. Wait, are the walls moving?" "Yep. The walls are literally closing in, turning the hallway into a human trash compactor. It doesn't take long for the screams to start pure, hopeless terror. No! Stop! What are you doing? Damn it, get me out. Don't push, there's no way out. Man, it's a total horror show. Arian bites her lip and looks away. She can't handle the sight. Blood starts spraying everywhere as the walls meet in the middle. After the dust settles and the noise stops, there's one guy left, sitting in the corner with heavy chains on his feet. Snail speaks up. Quite the scheme you had going. He narrows his eyes. You were hiding your presence pretty well. The guy in chains just scowls, clicking his tongue. Asterisk, chirk. Asterisk. Both his hands are locked down, and there's a parrot tattoo sitting right on his shoulder. This is the guy. Now that he's busted, he stops playing hide and seek. Lucas steps out, sounding bored as hell. Whelp caught red-handed. But seriously, you guys are nuts. Why'd you have to do the locals like that? Canis and Aaron stay quiet, just watching. Snail is sizing Lucas up too. Lucas asks, you guys really planning to go toe-to-toe with the kingdom? Snail doesn't answer, so Lucas just chuckles. I'll take that as a yes. Suddenly, the air between them gets heavy. Out of nowhere, Lucas lunges. His eyes are full of murder as he charges straight for the old man. He swings a massive iron mace at Snail, but the old guy doesn't even flinch. Lucas is shocked it's like he can't even reach him. The mace is frozen in midair, held back by Snail's invisible magic. Lucas can't see it, but he can feel it. It's like, my whole attack just got sucked into a void. He's thinking, who the hell is this old man? Right then, Snail growls out, you passed the test. Lucas actually laughs. Say what now? He looks at Snail, totally confused. I didn't exactly apply for a job here, buddy. Snail doesn't say another word. He just turns his back to leave, and his magic surges straight for Lucas like a tidal wave. Lucas panics, throwing his arms up to block. Inside, he's screaming, crap, this is bad, real bad. Plot twist. Oent's magic didn't actually want Lucas dead. Instead, it literally blew his chains apart. Then, that creepy, gravelly voice of Sen echoes through the room. Money, that's your weak spot, isn't it? Sen cuts straight to the chase. I've got a job for you and the pay, it's massive. The old man stares Lucas down. You in? Lucas just gives this devious little smirk. Now you're speaking my language. Canis just watches the exchange in dead silence. You can see the pure annoyance in Canis's eyes. Meanwhile, outside, it is absolutely dumping. A lone carriage is struggling to tear through the midnight downpour. Inside, Chris, our boy Thut, is losing his mind. He's pacing in that tiny space, barking at the driver. Can't this thing go any faster? Move it. I literally gave you every gold coin I had. The driver looks back, totally stressed. Look, kid, even if I push these horses to the limit, we aren't getting there until sunrise. Hearing that just sets Chris off. He's fuming. He grinds his teeth and slams his fist against the carriage wall, cursing under his breath. Damn it. Outside, the driver is just over it. What am I even doing out here at this hour? Inside, Chris is clutching his head, his brain spinning in a million directions. Sen, that literal monster, was broken out of prison last night. Chris knows exactly what's coming next. The old man is coming back to settle a 40-year-old grudge. I have to get to Master, right now, before everything goes to hell. Over at Anpas Magic Academy, the rain makes the whole place look like a graveyard. Lucas is standing there in fresh gear, shivering like a leaf. Man, it is freezing. Looking down at the academy, Lucas starts whining again. It's pouring. Man, do we really have to do this tonight? Canis just hits him with a cold stare. Stop crying. He leans in, making sure Lucas hears him. Just do exactly what the contract says. Nothing more, nothing less. Lucas just chuckles. Whatever, man. Just make sure that bonus is fat. He starts grumbling again. If I knew you guys were planning a full-on ambush on a magic school. While Lucas is busy complaining, Sen is already hovering high in the sky, looking down at Anpas like he's judging the whole world. His eyes, pure, unadulterated hatred. Down below, Lucas is still running his mouth. I definitely wouldn't have signed up for this mess. Up in the storm, Sen just hangs there like a ghost, silently scouting the academy grounds. The dude is radiating pure, killing intent. The rhythm of the rain just makes the whole academy feel even more isolated and creepy. Lucas crosses his arms, thinking to himself, "Great, I'm stuck here because they promised me a mountain of cash. But this is straight up treason." Lucas shifts his eyes over to Aaron, trying to start a conversation. "Hey, you don't look like the type to do this kind of dirty work." He starts shamelessly flirting. "You're way too pretty to be running around with a bunch of low-life criminals like us. Why don't you just ditch them and come with?" Before he can finish, Canis has had enough of Lucas hitting on his sister. "Lucas, your job is to watch the hostage. Period." He snaps at him, voice cold as ice. "Shut up and do what you're being paid for." Lucas just rolls his eyes. "Fine, fine. So who's this mystery hostage anyway?" Canis doesn't even bother looking at him. "You'll find out tomorrow morning." Canis's attitude is seriously starting to get on Lucas's last nerve. Lucas just clicks his tongue in annoyance. Canis feels the same way. He's thinking, why the hell did Master even bring this clown along? Suddenly, a creepy voice slithers into Lucas's mind. "Don't ask questions. It's a warning, loud and clear. Everything happening right now is according to his will. And by his, they mean the big boss, the great mage Sen. It's pitch black, the rain is relentless, and Sen's dark mana is already silently creeping over every inch of the Anpas campus." Meanwhile, over at the Royal Library, things are getting nerdy. Ancient scrolls say everything has weight, and that weight is what broke the universe's perfect balance. And because of a billion random accidents and cosmic hiccups, the world we know actually came to life. Suddenly, Nee pops up from a mountain of books, looking like he hasn't slept in 3 years. So basically, the world wouldn't even exist without weight, right? Nee's a 5th year, but right now, his hair looks like a literal bird's nest. He jumps up and yells, "No, wait. The real question is, why did weight even exist in the first place? I bet it just showed up out of nowhere. Like boom, instant gravity." Eriki, another 5th year who's currently face-planted on his desk, just groans. "It's just weight, bro. It's not that deep." Nee isn't having it. "Are you serious right now? You're basically saying God just spawned it all, aren't you? Is your brain fried? Do you need some sugar to wake up?" Eruki completely ignores him, casually picking his nose. "I don't know, man. I'm just talking. Who actually knows this stuff?" Eruki stares up at the library ceiling, watching the chandelier glow. He sounds like he's just done with life. "We've spent every waking second in this library, digging through every book on weight we could find. But at the end of the day, some things are just way beyond what a human brain can handle." Eruki sits up and points a finger. "I think we've gotten as close as we can to the omniscient point of view." He looks over at Siron, who's currently buried under a pile of books. "Hey Siron," Eruki calls out. "From your omniscient perspective, what the hell is weight? Anyway?" Siron doesn't say a word. He's just sitting there, lost in his own head. According to the texts, a mage's omniscience helps them stay objective. But a mage's actual omnipotent power? That's a whole different, personal beast. Our boy Siron is still stuck in 5th year. When Eruki starts grilling him, Siron just slumps over his desk, looking totally defeated. He narrows his eyes and grumbles, "Man, it's honestly hard to put into words." But then he pauses, thinking back to that wild moment he tapped into the immortal energy. He can still see those glowing crystals falling right into his palms. In that split second, Siron felt something deep, a literal sense of existence. Noon and Eruki both shout, "Existence? What are you even talking about?" Siron just nods. "Yeah, I could feel this intense will to survive, like a massive hunger to just be." He explains it like the energy was screaming out, desperate for anyone, anywhere, to acknowledge it was real. Eruki strokes his chin, looking all philosophical. "That's deep. Wanting to prove you exist? Huh?" Then Noon suddenly yelps, "Wait, what about this?" Siren's confused. "Huh?" Noon is hyped. Siren, your total power. We gotta name it. Noon grins, suggesting they call it the particle of God. The second Siron hears that. His eyes literally catch fire with excitement. Eriki sits up, nodding in approval. That's fire. It actually makes me think. Siren's already sold. That name is perfect for what I'm feeling. Nguyen's ego is through the roof now that his homies love the idea. For real? Let's go. With a name like that, the power feels even more legendary. Siron grips his mana tight, whispering the name Nguyen gave it over and over. The particle of God. Siron's grinning ear to ear. All right, time to dive deep and study this thing for real. Next morning, the sun hits Anpas Magic Academy. Our trio Nguyen, Siron, and Aruki are walking across the campus together. Nguyen's got his hands behind his head, whining like he's being tortured. I can't believe our vacation had to end like this. Eriki hits him with a reality check. Since when is a suspension a vacation? Siren just looks lost. You guys haven't forgotten the promise we made yesterday, right? The second Siron says that the vibes go completely dark. They both look terrified. Right. We gotta grind this semester so we can all graduate together. Siren's not letting them off the hook. It's only been one day. Guys, stay focused. Eriki and Noon are basically crying, imagining the worst-case scenario. What if I get left behind in 5th year all by myself? Eriki looks at Siren, totally desperate. Hey, Siren, you wouldn't mind staying back one more year with us, right? Siren's making a face. Are you kidding? Both of your scores are higher than mine. I'm the one who's actually cooked here. Noon interrupts. Today's the last day. You guys want to hit the lab? Siren waves them off. Nah, I gotta go somewhere first. You guys go ahead. Eriki tells Siron to catch up later. After splitting off, Siron just strolls along, staring up at the clear blue sky. He starts reflecting. 6 months ago, I was just some clueless first-year student. Now, I've got the particle of God and friends who actually have my back. The wind catches his golden hair, making him feel like a main character. He's feeling nostalgic. He thinks back to those moments walking with Amy. He's my boyfriend. That's what she told everyone. The memories are playing back in his head like a slow-motion highlight reel. He remembers bringing a giant basket of apples to Amy. He'd smiled and told her, "It's all thanks to you. I felt like I really needed to thank you properly." She was totally stunned. Wait, what? For me? He remembers the night he, Noan, and Aruki pranked the whole school, and how Amy looked at him then. And that night she cried, telling him to stop calling her senior. Siren whispers to himself, "Amy, thank you. You're the reason I even made it this far." Right then, over at the advanced class, students are getting ready for the day. Amy and Serial are walking to class like usual when suddenly Boom Siren pops up right in front of them. Amy, senior Serial. The girls almost jump out of their skins. Siren's beaming, asking gently, "Did I scare you?" "Sorry, just wanted to surprise you." Siren gets a little shy, looking down at the 2 coffees in his hands. "Thank you, Amy." He tells her it's all because she believed in him, but Amy just goes cold. "Why are you acting like we're close?" Siren freezes. "What?" Even Serial looks at him like he's something she stepped in. "Do you even know where you are right now?" Her eyes are pure murder. She warns him, "You've got guts showing up to the graduating class. I'll give you that. But you're way out of line. Go back to being a nerd and study." Serial tells Amy to move. And here I thought things were finally quiet. They just turn their backs and walk away, leaving Siren standing there. He stammers, "Wait, Senior Serial." Siren panics and chases after them. He's shouting, "Are you guys mad? Is it because I haven't visited in a while?" Suddenly, Serial just straight up shoves him. The 2 hot coffees crash to the ground, spilling everywhere. Serial screams at him, "I tried to let this go, but this isn't cute, it's straight up stalking. You hear me? Get lost while I'm still being nice, or I'll have you expelled." Every word she spits feels like a jagged blade ripping through Siren's soul. His voice was shaking, totally caught in a loop of no way, no way. Siren couldn't wrap his head around why everyone suddenly flipped the script on him. Ami actually felt a tiny bit bad for the guy, so she gave Serial's sleeve a tug and whispered under her breath, "Look, we're done here. Let's bounce before lunch break is history." Siren wasn't buying it, though. He kept yelling that they were lying through their teeth while struggling to get back on his feet. He spun around and hauled tail out of there, his brain stuck on repeat. Lies. All lies. Serial just watched him go, brow furrowed. That dude is a total freak, looks innocent but stubborn as hell. Then she tried to chill Amy out, saying, "Don't sweat it. You've already got a top-tier hottie in your corner." But even as the words left her mouth, Serial felt a weird chill. Amy just blinked, totally lost. "Wait, who are you even talking about?" Meanwhile, Siren was spiraling hard. He was sprinting so fast he didn't even see the world around him. He slammed straight into some guy. The dude shoved him off, looking totally ticked off. "Ugh. Watch where you're going. Man." Siren's eyes widened. He knew that face anywhere. "Mar," he shouted. Mar's eyes darted to Siren's elite class badge. Instantly, his body went into autopilot, bowing low. "My bad, senior. Forgive me." Siren's heart dropped. "Mar, are you serious right now?" "It's me, Siren. We literally survived that teleportation exam together." The guy just scrunched up his face, looking completely blank. Sure thing, man." Mar scratched his ear, looking everywhere but at Siron. "Look, I'm not really feeling it, but sorry for not recognizing you, I guess." Siren felt like he'd been hit by a truck. "How do you not know me?" Right then, Professor Sienna strolled up, looking all casual. "Yo, what's the drama about?" Hearing Sienna's voice was like finding an oxygen tank underwater. Siren turned to her with absolute desperation in his eyes, begging for help. But then she dropped the bomb. "Wait, who are you again? New transfer student? I've never seen your face around here." Siren felt his entire body turn to stone. "Got a name, kid?" she asked. Suddenly, this other dude started flexing, looking like he was ready to throw hands with Siren for being a stranger. "Who's this clown?" he barked. Before Siren knew it, a whole crowd of students was closing in, whispering and pointing. "Never seen him. Looks shady as hell. Is he a burglar? What's his deal?" Siron finally snapped, let out a massive yell, and bolted. Mar wasted no time, shouting at the top of his lungs, "Don't let him get away. Grab that suspicious freak." Siren was full-on sobbing as he sprinted for his life. "This isn't happening. It's a prank. It's gotta be fake." He kept running, trying to gaslight himself into believing reality wasn't breaking. Fake. Totally fake. He slammed open the door to the group room, breathing like a marathon runner. There they were, Neen and Aruki, just chilling. Siren stumbled in, tears blurring his vision. "Nine. Aruki. You guys. You still know who I am, right?" "It's me, Siren." Nine's expression went cold. "Dark. How the hell did you get in here?" Both him and Aruki gave Siren a look that could kill. "Who even are you?" they asked, their voices like ice. That was the final nail in the coffin. Siren's world just ended. A terrifying thought crept in. Was I ever even here? Did I just hallucinate this whole school life? Is this some twisted dream? Nine leaned back, eyes narrow and sharp. "Hold up. How does some random outsider know the passcode for the Estes room?" The questions kept coming like heat-seeking missiles. "Did another team send you? Who are you really?" Siren just broke down, bawling his eyes out. He was completely lost. When your only ride-or-die friends look at you like a stranger, what else is there to do? He started wondering if he was even real. But then, Nine and Aruki's faces twisted into these creepy-ass grins. Suddenly, they both lost it, howling with laughter. Aruki was making the most punchable face ever. "Man, I couldn't hold it in any longer." Neen was laughing so hard he literally had tears. "Yo, look at his pathetic face." Nine pointed, then started doing a high-pitched, mocking version of Siron's voice. "Oh, Neen. Aruki, you know me, right? It's me, Siren." Aruki was doubled over, totally losing his cool. "Stop. Stop. My stomach's killing me." Siren just collapsed to his knees, whispering, "So, you guys actually remember me?" When Siren actually hit the floor, The joke turned sour real quick. The guys jumped up, looking panicked. Whoa, Siren, why are you actually crying, man? Araki rushed over, checking him out. Hey, what's wrong? You okay? Neen started rubbing Siren's back, his voice turning soft. Look, we're sorry for trolling you. All right? You good now? After Siren spilled the whole crazy story, the gears in Neen's head started turning. Wait, so you're saying everyone else is blanking on you? He looked at Siren, confused. What do you mean? Exactly. Araki sat there, scratching his head. It was one thing for students to forget, but Professor Sienna too? Siren just sniffled. When I looked at them, they weren't faking it. They really had no clue. Nine stood up, looking determined. All right, this is getting weird. Let's head out and run some field tests. Siron grabbed him, terrified. But what if the second we walk out that door, you guys forget me too? Just the thought of losing them again made him lose it. If that happens, I'm seriously done for. Araki's eyes lit up with a eureka moment. Yo, what if we just write it down? No sooner said than done. Araki grabbed a pen and started scribbling on Neen's hand. Rule 1. If your brain goes mush, anyone with this North Star symbol is your bestie. Nine balled his fist, showing off the messy North Star drawing. He flashed a confident smirk. With this, even if our memories get wiped, we've got a backup plan. Easy, right? Siren still looked shaky. I don't know. You think this is some kind of ghost stuff or supernatural freakout? Nine shrugged. Heck if I know. I can't think of any logic that deletes people's memories like this. Aruki cut in. Only one way to find out. Let's hit the hallway. All right, the squad is back. Siren, Aruki, and Nen finally made it back to the Anpas Magic Academy, but honestly, they should have stayed in bed. They're creeping in like they're expecting a jump scare. From the outside, the academy looks exactly the same. All prestigious, noble, and too cool for school. Typical Magic Academy vibes. But the second they hit the gates, total system shock. Wait, what? What kind of twisted reality is this? The courtyard is a literal three of students, but the vibe is dead. Faces are dark. Expressions are blank. This is way creepier than anything Siren warned them about. Araki's inner nerd is tingling. What's their deal? Let's get a closer look. Siren's like, whoa, hold up, Einstein. What if this brain rot is contagious? Siren's worried they'll end up as mindless drones too. But Araki? He's not buying the drama. He does the math low risk, probably. He already touched them before and his brain is still functioning, right? Siren nods. Fine, let's do this. Then Nen spots a familiar face and loses his cool. Yo, Gabe, where do you think you're going, man? Gabe just tilts his head, totally lost in the sauce. Do I know you? Nen's jaw hits the floor. Of course you do. Seriously, tell me, where are you headed? Gabe's eyes go wide. Pure panic mode. Tell me, just tell me. He grabs Nen's shoulders, shaking him like a Polaroid picture. Who am I? What's that sound in my head? He's screaming now, clutching his skull in agony. Nen's freaking out. I don't hear anything, man. What are you hearing right now? Araki's just standing there, playing detective. He pulls Siren back. Dude, check it. He doesn't even realize the noise he's hearing is just the sound of his own voice. Gabe keeps howling like a total maniac. Aruki's call? The guy's literally forgetting how to use words. Tears and snot everywhere, it's a mess. Final verdict. His hard drive is being wiped in real time. Then, suddenly, dead silence. Gabe just stops, Siren stunned. Wait, it stopped? He looks around and it's a nightmare. Every single student has that same empty, soulless stare. They're moving like puppets on invisible strings, stepping in perfect sync, a literal parade of the Walking Dead marching out of the academy. And get this, it's not just the kids. Even the professors are caught in this trance. No one escaped the brain wipe. It's like some invisible hand is herding them toward the woods. Deep in the shadows, Arin's waiting in a black cloak, looking like a total villain. She turns to Canis, cold as ice. The herd is gathered. She gives him the look. Time to move. Canis just gives a dark nod. Then there's Luca. He just scoffs, creepy stuff, while smirking and standing among the brain-dead students. Walking zombies, no thoughts, just vibes. But they're still alive technically, which means I can do whatever I want, right? Lucas creeps toward Ami with a disgusting grin. He's definitely the guy your mom warned you about. Damn, a beauty like this in a dump like this. How about we, Lucas? Canis cuts him off. Cold, sharp. He glares at Lucas with eyes that could freeze hell. The warning is loud and clear. Mess with my master's grand plan with your filth and I'll end you. Lucas just shrugs. So sensitive. Can't a guy have a little fun? Canis doesn't blink. He's a stone-cold killer. Ignore me again, and you're a dead man. Try me. Lucas is fuming. You can practically see the steam. This arrogant little brat, he thinks, his ego taking a massive hit. The hate is real. He wants to rip Canis apart. He's already planning the guy's funeral in his head. But he's not an idiot. Fighting a high-level mage in their own domain? Suicide. I'll wait. The second you slip up, you're mine. He leaves his hand lingering on Ami's shoulder for one last creepy second. He clicks his tongue and backs off. Fine, he'll play nice. For now, whatever. Not like I'm getting paid enough to deal with your attitude anyway. Canis sees him back off and turns away. The long line of students vanishes into the dark forest, following Aaron and Canis like lambs to the slaughter. Behind a tree, Nen whispers to the guys. They're the masterminds. We gotta jump them, right? Stop this madness? Araki shuts that down instantly. No way, Nen's lost. Wait, why not? We're the good guys. Aruki's face goes dark. Memory manipulation is high-tier magic. Doing it to over 500 people at the same time? And those 500? All geniuses. The sheer mental power required for that is absolutely insane. He breaks it down for them. Fighting Canis and Arian head-on is a fast track to the graveyard. These guys are pro-level. Plus, they've even got professors under their thumb, including that level 6 mage, the CNA teacher. We're talking heavy hitters. Nen gulps. So you're saying? Siron finishes the thought. They're on a whole different level of power than us. Araki nods. Way beyond our league. Our only move? Tail them. If we charge in now, we're toast before we can even cast a spell. Suddenly, Siron realizes something's missing. Wait, they aren't here. Nen's confused. Who's they? The principal and Professor Atella. Meanwhile, deep in the woods, Atella is in a tiny cabin, trying to meditate. Sweat's pouring down her face. Her brow is furrowed in deep, painful concentration. Something is seriously wrong. On the roof, a bunch of crows suddenly freak out and scatter. Total chaos. Atella's eyes snap open. She's gasping for air. The bad vibes are overwhelming. Imagine waking up and seeing thousands of demons just chilling outside. Not exactly the morning vibe Ethela was looking for, especially with a lone pigeon creepily watching her house. She adjusted her glasses, thinking, this is sus. It's way past class time, and not a single student has come to annoy her yet. Something is definitely wrong. Total bad feeling. Athela didn't wait around. She bolted straight to the academy. But when she got there, absolute ghost town. Not a single soul in sight. She looked around, totally spiraling. I mean, how do you just lose an entire school full of people overnight? Suddenly, she saw him. Professor Seven was running for his life toward her, screaming, Professor Athela, thank God you're still in one piece. She did a double take. Professor Seven? Slow down, man. What happened to you? He didn't even stop to catch his breath. The academy, we're under fire. We just got hit, and we got hit hard. It all clicked. Those demons from last night? That was just the warm-up. Seven started spilling the tea on how bad things actually were while they moved. This wasn't just a prank. The whole academy was compromised, and even the guards had their memories completely wiped clean. Seven looked dead serious. Then he dropped the bombshell. The man behind this chaos? Vor, a legendary archmage who basically brought the apocalypse to the world ages ago. Athela's jaw literally hit the floor. Wait, an archmage? Like, for real? Seven just nodded. It was about to get way worse. We're talking rank 3 mages here. Once you hit that level, you're not just a mage anymore, you're a straight-up archmage, a living legend. See, in this world, your rank depends on how much clout and achievements you've stacked up over the years. To give you some perspective, clearing a monster den gets you 500 points. Getting a shout-out from the Emperor? That's only another 100. Moving from rank 10 to rank 9 takes 1,000 points. But trying to hit rank 3? The gap is absolutely insane compared to Anpas, who's currently a rank 4. Vor is a rank 3 monster. The point gap between them? A staggering 280 million points. Yeah, you heard that right. Asen Vor is basically a god among men. Last century, he reached rank 3 all by himself using nothing but raw, terrifying dark magic. Athela couldn't wrap her head around it. If he's that legendary, why is he messing with our little school? Remember, Athela and Seven are both only rank 6. They're strong, sure, but compared to Vor, they're basically toddlers playing with matches. Seven hesitated. You could see the gears turning in his head. He wasn't sure if she was ready for the ugly truth. Looking at her confused face, he felt like trash. How do you tell someone their whole world is a lie? He flashed back to a few years ago. When he first saw Athela's resume for the teaching job, Anpas was absolutely floored. The old man had shouted, "A bishop from the Casus order. Those guys are the elite bodyguards of the 12 holy relics." Anpas looked her up and down, totally baffled. He had to ask the obvious question. "You're the strongest bishop in the kingdom and a rank 6 healer. Why on earth would someone like you want to babysit kids at an academy?" Athela didn't blink. She just looked him in the eye and said, "I'm just trying to live by the words of Bishop Dung Casus. Be like salt and light." She stood up, full of passion. Most schools just want to build weapons, magicians who can blow stuff up. But here, things were different. She told him she respected how Anpas let students be themselves and taught them that having big power means having a big responsibility. With a huge smile, she told him, "I'm a fan of your style, principal. That's why I'm here." That fire in her eyes, it really stuck with Seven. He knew she was the real deal. Back in the present, Seven was having a mental breakdown. Should he tell her? He had to. He took a deep breath. "Athela, look, you need to stay calm. Asen Vor, he is Principal Anpas." Silence. Athela just stood there, frozen. She closed her eyes, took one long, shaky breath, and then opened them with a look of pure steel. "Understood. No more games. I don't care who he is. If he touches my students, he's finished. Period." Suddenly, she started glowing with this insane blue light. Seven was shaking. "Athela, you okay?" She stared off into the distance, her magic eyes scanning the area. The students, they're being herded toward the mountains. She saw it all in her mind. They're heading for the unpassable bridge. If they keep going, there's no turning back. Wait, I see 3 people leading the pack. But hold on. She paused, narrowing her eyes. There are 3 others chasing them down. Seven was losing it. "Can you see who they are? Give me names." She squinted. The uniforms were blurry, but then she saw it. It's him. Siron is one of them. Cut to the forest. Siron, Neen, and Aruki were ducked behind a massive tree. Neen whispered, "What's the play? Why are they taking them there?" He was starting to freak out. The unpassable bridge? Are they seriously going to push everyone off the cliff? That's messed up. Araki frowned, playing the strategist. Doesn't make sense. There's no profit in just killing everyone. It's a waste of resources. Then his voice went ice cold. Unless they have a specific, twisted reason for a massacre. Araki's about to lose it and rush in, but someone's got to play it cool. "Wait, man," our boy warns, grabbing his arm. "Look at those students, they're completely brainwashed. Going in hot right now is just suicide." Siren's definitely the chillest one in the group. He takes a breath and says, "Look, the headmaster's missing in action, but we've still got Professor Seven and Athela on our side. I'm betting someone already sniffed this out and called for backup. We just gotta hold tight for a second." But then Siren's voice gets real cold. "However, If these punks touch a single hair on those hostages before the cavalry arrives, then it's go time. We're throwing hands. Nate and Iruki share a quick look. No words needed. They're locked in and ready to back Siren's play no matter what happens next. Iruki's still sweating the numbers, though. Fighting these guys while we're this outnumbered? That's a massive risk, he mutters, feeling totally powerless. Guess we've got no choice. We wait. Siron watches the cliff like a hawk. Doesn't look like they're planning to toss anyone off just yet. It's like they're waiting for a VIP or something. Siren notes. Down below, pure chaos. Lucas is screaming his lungs out at Canis. Yo, Brad. Lucas points at the students like they're target practice. Where the hell is your leader? Why hasn't that guy shown his face yet? Doesn't he know time is money in a job like this? We're on a schedule here, man. You want us all to rot here waiting? Is that the plan? Canis just gives him a lethal death stare. We don't start until we find that Anpas guy. Period. Just worry about your own contract and shut your mouth. That was ice cold. Meanwhile, Aaron's using telepathy to ping Canis. It's been way too long since the boss checked in. Why aren't they back yet? Canis looks at her, his eyes twitching with nerves. I don't know, he pings back. They should have been here ages ago. I'm starting to get a bad feeling about this. He's freaking out internally. The leader wanted this moment more than anyone, so why the no-show? It literally makes zero sense. Then Lucas's obnoxious yelling cuts right through his thoughts like a chainsaw. Forget the boss. At least let us have some fun with these kids while we wait. Everything's fine, right? Canis is fuming, trying not to lose it. Why the hell did the boss pick this psycho for the mission? He's officially reached his breaking point. He turns on Lucas, snarling. You absolute piece of trash. Lucas loses it instantly. Excuse me? You really want a piece of me, kid? The air gets heavy. Lucas is screaming at the top of his lungs. You think I'm playing with you? This guy's power? It's seriously no joke. Even Aaron's shaking. She's thinking those death eyes are way too overpowered. They can literally paralyze a person's entire nervous system just by looking at them. Canis knows the deal. That kind of terrifying skill only belongs to someone who's committed a mountain of crimes. But honestly, that just makes him despise Lucas even more. Back in Latam, where I grew up, I dealt with scumbags like you every day, Canis sneers. Guys who see people as nothing but cheap meat. You're just another piece of trash from the gutter. Lucas doesn't even get mad, he just starts laughing like a total maniac. Oh, I get it now. I knew I hated your face for a reason. Lucas mocks him, hands on his hips. You really think we're different? Ha, I'm the trash and you're the guy with the noble purpose? Give me a break, man. He looks at the students. These zombies? Their brains might be fried, but their bodies still work. He glances at a student face down in the dirt, drooling everywhere. It's a pathetic sight. If they don't eat, drink, or sleep, they're gonna croak anyway, cliff or no cliff. Then, out of nowhere, Lucas grabs Sienna by the throat. This, he grins, is what I call feeling the vibe. He lifts her off the ground like a rag doll while she struggles for air. Canis snaps back. We didn't bring them here to slaughter them. They're hostages. You psycho. Lucas's grin gets even wider. Exactly. That's why I'm trimming the fat. Less mouths to feed, right? Sienna's kicking the air desperately, her legs flailing around. It's brutal to watch. Besides, Lucas laughs. Once this job is finished, every single one of us is a murderer anyway. Might as well start the party. Arin's cringing, but Canis is done talking. His eyes go sharp. You really gonna break the very rules you set up? Lucas shrugs. Killing a girl is kind of a buzzkill. Sure. But honestly, boom. Out of nowhere, the ground under Lucas turns into a literal firestorm. The shockwave is so intense Erin has to shield her face just to keep from getting shredded. Canis doesn't even flinch. Iruki steps out, his hand glowing with raw spiritual energy, and just clicks his tongue in disappointment. Man, I was really hoping that would blow off at least one of your legs, Iruki scoffs. Total savage move. Lucas hits the dirt on one knee, coughing. Who the hell are you brats? He screams at Nate and Iruki. Suddenly, a flash of light streaks past. It's Siron. In a heartbeat, He snatched Sienna right out of Lucas's hands, and he looks absolutely livid. I'm not letting you walk away from this, Siren growls. Canis jumps in, totally confused. Wait, who are you guys and why are you interfering? And more importantly, how the hell did you break out of the mind control? Meanwhile, deep in the dark woods, a shadow steps out of a cave entrance. It's Arson, and he looks, well, a little surprised by the chaos. So there she is, Ethella, standing tall against that old monster. Arson just sneers at her. What, you came all this way just to die alone? Back with the group, Thorn tells her they gotta leave the hostages to the kids. Why? Because they're smart, and they'll buy them some precious time. After a second of should I or shouldn't I, Ethella finally caves. Fine, she says, but what about us? What's the plan? That doesn't miss a beat. We find the headmaster, he says, sounding dead serious. We need the big guns to settle this mess once and for all. You can see the nerves on Ethella's face. Right. So my job is already picked out for me. Huh. That just frowns, almost begging her. Please, we're counting on you. So Ethella's gotta go head-to-head with that freak. Using her magic, she sniffs out his hideout, a creepy cave tucked deep in the ancient woods. That's voice is still ringing in her ears, telling her to find Arson. And boom, as soon as she arrives, the old man steps out. A sister? He mumbles. Ethella just bows, keeping it classy. Bishop of Casus, she says. Honestly, meeting a living legend like him, she's almost impressed. Arson's eyes go wide. A bishop? He's looking her up and down, thinking about how she actually shattered his black hole to get here. Like, yeah, she's clearly the real deal, a true seeker. But a bishop? At her age? He can't believe his own eyes. Every bishop he's ever met was some dusty old fossil with one foot in the grave. Then it hits him. This girl is a total freak of nature, a genius who reached the peak of sainthood while she's still practically a kid. He just starts cackling. Man, this world is actually interesting. But then bam, his eyes go cold, and the killing intent? It's suffocating. All right, enough talk, he growls. Where's Annis? Ethella doesn't blink. Drop the act, old man. You're just trying to buy time, and it's not working. Arson looks shocked. Excuse me? But she's already read him. She knows he burned through his mana last night and he's running on fumes. His only move? Wait for the sun to go down. He just stands there, staring her down in total silence. She lays it out straight. Here's the deal. Break the curse on the students right now, and I'll let you face the headmaster, man to man. Arson's face twists. He starts laughing like a total psycho, like she just told the world's funniest, darkest joke. You think I'm stalling? He mocks. And before she can even process that, Ethella's head snaps up. Holy crap. Massive trees just erupt out of the ground, closing in on her like a cage. Arson's voice is just pure venom now. Stupid girl. It's almost a waste to kill you. He snarls. But yeah, just die already. Those demonic roots just swallow her whole. Meanwhile, over with Siren, Lucas is busy talking trash to Canis. Great plan, genius, he says, totally mocking Canis and Aaron. You ignored me, and now look, 3 witnesses right there. He glares at Siron and Aruki, who are busy helping a hurt Sienna. Lucas just won't shut up. This whole operation is a joke, he says. Then he gets greedy. You want me to clean this up? Gonna cost you extra. What do you say? Canis just clicks his tongue in pure disgust. Aaron tries to chime in through their telepathy, but Canis shuts her down. I've got this. Aaron tries to insist, but Canis shuts that down fast. Watch the hostages, he snaps, his eyes turning sharp.